Good evening and welcome to Stay Plugs in Winter Breach season opener day. We are so excited to get the season started with some awesome Rainbow Six Siege, our newest program for the Stay Plugged In model. And with me tonight, Brian Baca. Brian, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm so excited you're going to be here, and I'm really excited to talk to you about your college experience and honestly your your challenger experience within the R6 community. So super glad you're here tonight. Let's honestly jump right into it. You give me a little bit of your background. You went to Arizona State and played for the R6 team over there. So tell me a little bit about how you got started with that experience and going forward.
Yeah, so I started at ASU in my freshman year. I'm currently a sophomore, so I still go to ASU, but not currently playing for the R6 squad. Played with them in their fall 2019 semester and spring 2020. And in our fall 2019 semester, we had won a championship there. And in 2020, we went to a LAN right before COVID hit. Went to DreamHack Anaheim. And so it was a really fun experience. I played there right out of high school and currently play in Challenger League with my team Oblivion. So I've been transitioning from high school originally to college and now to semi-professional R6.
That is awesome. Great experience. And I'm sure that college experience in the R6 world really trained you for what you're trying to do currently. So tell me a little bit more about that Arizona State esports program you guys have.
Yeah, for sure. So ASU Esports, it's basically a club on campus. It has 1,800 to 2,000 members, and it's one of the most popular clubs on campus. And basically, we have two currently squads in our R6 program, R6 the D1 and D2. And basically, since we have a lot of players in it, we're able to have that two teams and stuff. And since there's a lot of different programs and different leagues that are out there, and with the new edition of the Face It collegiate championship that came out, it gives a lot of opportunity for college teams to actually compete at a high level and get that prize pool that they deserve instead of playing for some of these smaller prize pools that you see nowadays. But yeah, so basically just a lot of teams out there. ASU is not currently funded by the school because it is a big university.
Sure.
Big university, but it is one of the most popular clubs on campus, and it's a great experience. I've had so much fun and met a lot of people through my time at ASU, and even though I'm not currently participating on the team, I still help them out with giving my input and helping them out to achieve their try to get some more championships in the roster.
That is awesome. So if you would have some advice for our young high school kids that are looking and trying to compete at the collegiate level for our Rainbow Six Siege, what advice would you give to those guys?
The main thing that I've experienced is making sure your scheduling is most important. So making sure you have the right homework, right scheduling with your homework, as well with your practicing and your matches. One thing I experienced throughout high school, which I transitioned to college, is just scheduling and time management, honestly. Making sure that you have enough time to do your homework first, then have time to practice, do scrims, go over anything you need to with any VOD reviews or anything, and then time for matches and practice. So I'd say time management is probably the most key thing that I've experienced throughout my journey throughout high school to college to semi-professional esports.
Yeah. It sounds like, you have to have a lot of dedication because there's so many things going on in school. And I'm sure the high school kids that we have currently experience that to a degree where they're trying to schedule matches and other things going on for, their current schedule, right? You got to go to high school and then at night, maybe you're playing a match with us or another league or something like that and trying to develop with your team. Is there a lot of time that has to go in order to really develop those skills as a team?
I'd say the main thing is making sure that all the people on the team have that same kind of mindset and goal towards what you guys want to achieve. So if you guys want to, achieve those high school championships, whether it's through Stay Plugged In or a couple of other different leagues out there, just make sure that mindset's there. Honestly, when I was at ASU, we had a psychologist that was worked previously with USC, and he worked in the psychology with esports, and he helped us create this mindset of winning. And even though winning is the most part of it, he also wanted to make sure that even though if we lost games, that we made sure if we learned from it. Because honestly, if you keep winning and you keep winning, and you hit that loss, you kind of get stuck and you're like, oh, well, we've won all the time. Why did we lose? You kind of get hard on yourself. So I think the main thing is just keeping that positive mindset and learning from everything, whether you win or lose games. I mean, I've had that mindset from high school all the way through, when I play matches now. If we, lose rounds, figure out what we did wrong to increase it. If we lose the map, figure out what we need to do there to improve on it. Then we win, just take the wins that we get and learn from it more. So I'd say just keeping that mindset is the most important thing, and just the dedication to, if you guys want to become at that high level it's just putting time in. So like I said, that time management is really key into combining with that as well.
So I have a random question for you. One of the
Yes.
things that we do here at Stay Plugged In is we actually accept individuals in order to join a team together, and we'll set up a roster for them. They can join as a team and they can join as an individual. But obviously, when you enter the college scene, there's something similar like that happens, right? You don't necessarily get to pick your teammates all the time. Maybe it's somebody who's managing the team that does that, right? Does that happen? And tell me a little bit about that experience as you go into the collegiate scene.
Yeah, so basically how it has happened at ASU is there's been captains throughout the time. It has changed since I've been there.
Sure.
But basically it's like, mainly people obviously from your college and all these different leagues, it basically from your college. So what I've noticed is mainly been tryouts, and you try out for the team you want to, which is obviously the highest team because everyone wants to be at the best.
That's right.
And you basically try out, and different captains, they choose depending on the role. So, if you're more of a flex support player, if you're in the IGL, depending on the different roles, basically just try out, see what fits best with the team, to then go on further, guys compete in the leagues.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, so you don't necessarily get to pick your teammates, right? You kind of just you show up, and whoever you're given, right? And you can either be better than those teammates sometimes or worse. And I think there's an opportunity, and you could probably speak to the fact that sometimes you got to pull your teammates up with you. Sometimes you're better than somebody, and that's okay. And you have to take that role as a leader in order to be able to bring those guys up with you, right?
Yeah, for sure. The mindset part of that is really key part, because when I was playing collegiate, you don't pick your teammates, so you have who you have, and honestly, it's kind of the best thing because you work with what you have and you bring everyone up. So say for instance, when I was playing the team, we had some players that we need to help work on, different things, and I need to work on some things, and we both helped out each other figure that stuff out in and off game too, because we did have the opportunity to play at a smaller LAN site where it had like 6 PCs at our college.
Yeah. And
that was probably the biggest thing and the best thing that's ever happened to me playing esports, is building that connection with my teammates on and off campus. Because we would, grab lunch before and after games. We'd hang out even when we weren't playing video games, and just creating that atmosphere of, you're more than just teammates. You're brothers. You're with his brothers and sisters, depending if there's girls or guys on the team, and it's just you're a family basically. So, that's probably the best part that I've liked about college.
Yeah.
Esports as well, is just not knowing who's on the team. Obviously, through tryouts, you can depend on who's on your team. If you're captain or not, you pick them, obviously. But if you're just a player, when I came into playing at ASU, I knew a couple of players on the team from just reaching out with them and talking to them beforehand, but I didn't know all their play styles, anything without that. So I just adapted throughout the process with playing with them.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I think you have a great, experience within the collegiate scene, and I wish you the best of luck as you're trying out for the challenger scene, and you guys are fighting for that pro league spot. And I'm super excited. I hope you guys go out and crush it. If you want to do a quick shout out, whatever your social medias are, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. So, mainly I go on Twitter. My Twitter is BakaAZ with a 4 as the first A.
Cool.
And I play for Team Oblivion CA on Twitter, and also shout out to ASU Esports on Twitter. I love where I came from. You got to represent them. Got the ASU jersey and the ASU flag. So Forks up, Devils.
There you go. Forks up, Devils. Well, we're going to go into the next match. We're going to get into game 1 tonight. It's going to be a banger. We have some awesome teams with some great skills, and we're going to get to see them for the first time and see some seniors. But stay tuned for our match number 1 coming up right after this.
On theater, on ping. Behind that, he's peeking that mirror.
Right,
it's open. Swing it. Nice.
Hello and welcome back to Winter Breach, the first match day, the first stream day of our second game for our recruitment platform here at Stay Plugged In. I'm super excited. Are you excited?
Yeah, we're here. We're doing it. We're back again.
Awesome. A new face here. I am Kyle, aka Tails. I am going to be casting Rainbow Six Siege alongside my co-host, Box Turtle, also known as Gray. We will be your two casters for the majority of this Winter Breach competition, which is going to be absolutely fantastic. And I want you to talk about that recruiting aspect a little bit. Why are we doing this here at Stay Plugged In? And just give me the gist of everything.
Yeah. So if you've tuned in to us before over the past couple months, you've probably seen us doing something called Fall Nationals, which is basically the exact same thing built out for Rocket League. Well, this is our version of the same thing, but for Rainbow Six Siege, right? Winter Breach. The entire goal for this is to develop the competitive environment and the skill sets necessary for high school students to have access to the collegiate esports scene, whether that be on scholarship or just to play for one of the club programs or to play varsity or whatever that shape or form that takes. Our entire goal is to give kids the skill sets necessary to make it there. So this entire program is built around A, that competitive environment, B, building something that kids can take with them from those skill sets, and C, connecting them to the colleges themselves. So we're super excited about this. We've had great success with Fall Nationals and great competitiveness and talent showcased so far. We are hoping for, of course, the exact same thing here with Winter Breach. And based off the teams that we have and the slate ahead of us, even just for tonight, that's exactly what we're going to see.
Yeah, I'm super excited. And just to expand, we mentioned Fall Nationals. That is the first game, Rocket League, that we got into for that recruiting aspect of Stay Plugged In. That's Fall Nationals. We go live every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time for that competition. And also, we have an exciting new feature coming in Stay Plugged In, The Charge. And you guys can go follow us on Twitter at stay_plugged_in to see some of those very exciting teasers and promos where you get to see this guy host a media show with Bear Light. Super exciting, and hopefully want to drop that date very soon. But yeah, on to Winter Breach more specifically. Winter Breach is a competition in Rainbow Six Siege. It's 2 splits, each operating about 3 to 4 weeks, with it starting in round robin play and then going into a final bracket play as well at the end on the Saturday and Sunday. So super excited. The format of that is after that league play, the top 50% of the teams qualify for that final bracket. And then the top 4 teams that place in that final bracket qualify for the winter finals, which for that is a double elimination bracket tournament in December. That's the culminating event, right? So 4 teams from Split 1 face off against 4 teams from Split 2, and we really get to crown who the best amateur Winter Breach or Rainbow Six Siege team really is. So I'm super excited to see how this all plays out, and today's the first night. So let's get into our first match.
Yeah. Let's go over some of the rosters that we have built out for you so far. So the theme for our Fall Nationals team so far has been Pokemon. The theme for Winter Breach is going to be the military phonetic alphabet. So tonight we have Team November facing off against Team Sierra. The first team on that slate is going to be November, which of course is going to it's not going to have any seniors on this team, so this is a relatively younger team compared to some of the other teams we've seen across Rocket League and Winter Breach. But nonetheless, some great talent from across the board. A bunch of plats and diamonds make up this team. We have Okami, Yoki Berra. I love that name. So clever. Schwitz and others. I mean, this team is slated to make a run at their division. This is a super talented team. I'm excited for what they bring to the table.
Yeah, it's very exciting to see some of this younger talent start off because they have extra years, right? They have a long time to develop themselves to really kick off their recruiting career into college. But next up, we have my team that I'm the coach for, Team Sierra. Super exciting. We do have one senior. He is Swift. He is a diamond, and he's an Ash Jaeger maid. So super excited to see him frag out tonight and take that lead entry fragger role. I'm sure he will be dropping quite a few kills. Also on top of that, we have Timmy, Burnt Tricky, Fine, and Astro Ducks. So super exciting. It's a very well-balanced roster. So I think, this team has a lot of potential, a couple diamonds, couple plat ones as well. So we should be super awesome. And this matchup should be a great way to start the entire league off.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right. So let's get into exactly what map we're going to be seeing, some of the bands that have come out so far from these teams. So right off the bat, the map that we are going to be on today, I believe, is going to be
Clubhouse.
Clubhouse, right?
Yep.
Yeah, there it is.
Yep, so Clubhouse, obviously an incredibly popular map in North American Siege, right? It is the staple. We know SSG Clubhouse, one of the best teams in the country, the reigning world champions, and super awesome. They were iconic in their strats that they developed in Clubhouse, and we're probably going to see some of those employed tonight because that's how good they were at that map. Is that they're, even 9 months later, their strats are still extremely relevant. So I'm super excited. What's your kind of first premonitions of this?
Yeah, I mean, my money's on Team November just because I like opposing you in a lot of different ways. But no, you're exactly right. And that speaks volumes to exactly how good strats have evolved through this game because we've seen a couple major updates come out from this game, even in just the last 3 months. Yeah. So the fact that something remains viable for that long truly shows that, Clubhouse is going to be something that we are probably going to see some things that we're very familiar with. But also probably some new things as well. We may see some, pocket tricks come out here and there. Exactly seeing what these teams are going to come up with is going to be very entertaining to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're just trying to get the last few players in here to kick off this match. But in the meantime, talking about some of those changes of Siege, especially some of these strats are still relevant. Obviously, there's some new ones as well. But, we got a new secondary gadget and hard breach. We have Tachanka rework coming in, obviously not quite in competitive play. Then we also have Ace, which kind of redefines the game right now, is that fourth hard breach character, right, operator. And, his gadgets are incredibly powerful, and they are incredibly loud as well. So I'm super excited to see kind of what the lineups are and what the bans are, because I think the bans are going to have a massive impact on what operator lineup we see and what strats that can be employed as we approach this first match.
What are some traditional bans in terms of characters that we're going to see on this map?
Yeah, so the typical operators that are banned on Clubhouse, I mean, you have the traditional defense ones, your Maestro, your Echo, your Mira, right? Those are staple defenders, and a lot of teams just hate playing against them, so they just auto-ban, right? A really iconic one is Team Empire. Last year, they were one of the iconic teams in Siege for about a year, won a major, and they always banned, I believe it was Echo. Or Mira. No, they always banned Mira. I was getting confused in those two, but they always ban Mira because that's just such an annoying operator to play with that bulletproof glass window in front of her that you can't see, obviously, and she can see directly through it. So she has a major impact. Clubhouse, sometimes you see play some creative strats on that. And with that, we'll see some here. Hold on a minute. We're good? Okay, awesome. So we're waiting on one last player here. Just got a word from my producer. But with Mira, super powerful. Then you have Echo. Okay, awesome. Thank you. So on that note, looking at the attackers, we probably see a Thatcher ban, maybe an Ace ban, maybe a hard breed ban. Like I said, there's 4 operators: Thermite, Habana, Ace, and the last one is Maverick. So we'll see probably one of them banned for sure because it kind of defines what you can do defensively. So banning one of them kind of lets you bandit trick or Kaid trick or play a little more denial and have a better success at delaying that attack push. Because more than likely, these teams are good enough. They're going to get that wall open eventually, especially on that CCTV push. They're going to get that wall open. There's not really a good way to stop it. It's just a good way to slow it down, right? You're going to have to mess up your utility use to a good amount to really lose the ability to open that wall. For sure. So I'm excited.
Taking that into consideration, looking at the teams and the characters that they traditionally play in their mains, how exactly is this matchup going to play out from that perspective? What team has the advantage being able to play those exact situations that you're talking about based off of who they main?
Yeah, it looks like, so we have 2 kind of different teams here from a structure standpoint, right? Team November, if you look at their favorite operators or their preferred mains, I see Thatcher, Nomad, Ash, and then IQ and Thermite. That's a very balanced lineup. You got a couple flexes in there, a support, and then, the 2 Ash mains, those are obviously entry fraggers, right? So usually, in Siege, we have that primary fragger, that primary entry, and then that secondary entry as well. So with that being said, we have on the flip side in Team Sierra, we have actually 4 Ash Jaeger mains. So I'm pretty sure they're going to swing everything, right? And kind of that ranked mantra right now is swing or be swung. Yeah. I'm sure Gray, that if you're not peaking, you're probably about to get fried.
Yep.
So I'm excited to see Team Sierra play aggressively, and I'm going to be really peaked to see if November can handle that, right? Obviously having that balanced approach and some more support players, and maybe they can use some more intel operators and really counter that aggressive play, hold those proper crosses, maybe a little bit more communication if they're used to, being in that support role. Maybe we have a couple IGLs or, a very good mixture, flex space of that IGL role. And maybe communication is key and the comms end up winning. But talk to me about the importance of comms, especially in a game like Siege.
Yeah, in such a strategic game where, so much of what we've seen from first-person shooters nowadays is everybody's transitioning more towards that, character-based objective gameplay, right? Which is exactly what the type of game that Siege is. That it's been this way for a very long time, where the operator that you're playing in the specific area on the map that you are in will dictate a lot of your play style, right? So your communication, not even especially, on both attacking and defending, the communication aspect of that is immensely important, whether that's, locations and intel, whether that's, whether you're breaching or not breaching, where you're pushing, where you're peeking. Trading kills is a huge thing in this game, especially for your entry frag players, which I know you said we have 3 of those on one team. So it's going to be very important. It's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. But we are loaded into this game finally after much ado. We do apologize getting everyone into that lobby as we enter this ban phase, and we see exactly how this is going to shake out for both of these teams. Right off the bat, Thatcher, not terribly surprising. That's a very heavily banned character across the board. Yeah.
He's so good. Those EMPs, he has 3 of them now. They used to destroy all those electrical gadgets, or at least most of them. The camera still just got disabled, but now it just disables all of those electrical type gadgets. So super important operator to get out of the way to really use that denial, right? Especially in that basement attack. You can stick those Kaids in the hatches, and you have to take a certain operator, right? That sniper, Callie, sorry, I forgot her name. Have to take Callie to really interact with those hatches and take off the Kaid, and there goes Kaid ban. So with that Thatcher ban, they also kind of countered with that Kaid ban. So like, hey, we're going to get these Thatchers open, or we're going to get those hatches open one way or another. So super excited to see them already kind of interacting in this ban phase. Maverick ban, super interesting, right? Maverick tricking is a huge thing on Clubhouse. So without Maverick now, we're going to have to see those Thermites, Habanas, and Ace, which are a little easier to, counter. You can use Bandit and kind of Bandit trick those walls. So I'm going to be pretty excited to see what happens here as we get into this first match. Awesome. Here comes round 1. But like you said, November, they're on the defense first, November's on the defense first. Sierra is on the attack. And like you can see, we already kind of have that pretty attacking-minded lineup, right? Ash, Sledge, Zafia, even Habana. Habana's kind of the aggressive hard breach, so to say. Yep. She has a pretty good kit that can kind of frag out as well. So I'm super excited. Double hard breach. Not quite sure what their plan is to get rid of, any kind of wall denial. Maybe they go beneath with that Zafia or Ash and, use that verticality play and destroy the floor from beneath to get those bandit charges off or mutes. But it does look like we're going to CCTV room first and kind of take me through. What do you expect in this first round?
Yeah, pretty typical character picks coming out on the defensive end here. They're most likely going to be setting up CCTV, which I believe is what we see exactly right here. We're probably going to see some pretty traditional moves here, as you were talking about before this match, where a lot of these teams are going to be mimicking exactly what they've seen so far in these leagues, and in the pro scene, right, where you're talking about the meta on this map that has been this way for such a long time. That's probably exactly what we're going to see on this map as they set up here on the defensive end. What's going to be interesting to see is how exactly they deal with those hard breaches that you were talking about, right? There's a lot of area denial on this team. There's a lot of intel being gathered by this defensive side based off of who they picked. They did switch off that Valkyrie, so that is going to limit a little bit more of their visibility. But nonetheless, it is going to be very interesting to see exactly how they're able to counter this team and prevent them from moving onto site with as much area denial as possible.
Yeah, right now we already see, that denial you're talking about from that projectiles, right? We have the Jaeger and the Wamai on the board. Both of those kind of stop grenades and any throwables in their tracks. Obviously, the Wamai does a little bit more. It stops those Capital bolts as well. That Jaeger doesn't quite catch, but they can kind of sit in that top garage, the garage balcony, for a long time, right? Yep. You can't really throw any nades up there. Obviously, we're bringing 2 nades with Sledge, but you can't really throw any of those flash rings or those Zafia concussion mines. Because they're just going to get eaten up. That Wamai, continuously produces those magnets over time. So, it's going to be really tough to take that garage. But it looks like they're going for that vertical take, right? They're really clearing below. We got Jaeger's kind of stuck right now in bar. Looks like he's going to be able to rotate back. Oh, nope. Oh, the Jaeger actually gets that kill on main stairs, I believe is where that happened. Yeah, it looks like that Sledge had entered in on the master side and was trying to stop that rotation back from the Jaeger as that Jaeger was stuck in bar when the attack was trying to push from below. So now the defender's off to an early advantage. Ash is still trying to play vertically here, looking up into that cache room. Still trying to clear some roamers. Looks like there's one on blue stairs. Yep, here we go. We do have the Melusi on blue stairs, maybe on a flank here. So what do you think? Do you see a clear advantage so far?
Yeah, not exactly what I was expecting moving into this, right? A lot of what I would have expected to see is that push through the garage entirely, or just moving up and playing completely vertically and playing top down, right? Instead, we're seeing a lot more of that lower push. We're seeing that Melusi, like you said, is going for some flanks, playing a little bit more beneath the point than anything. As we see, this Hibana is going to be looking for that hard breach on the point there. Maybe not quite aware that the other player is sitting around the other side of that wall, but nonetheless, trying to break through, probably going to peek this here, try and get a pick if they can, as that 2 characters are sitting on site as we speak. We are about to see some things shake out here as both teams are going to start, and we see it right there.
There we go. The Jaeger goes down. Yeah, they're setting up this great pinch site, right? This is a very common attacking strat where you open up the cache wall and the CC wall because you just hold some great crosses here. This smoke right now is trapped in a corner. He can't do anything right now. He can only kind of sit there and wait and hopefully trade himself off. Looks like this Evil Eye is doing some work though right now. Oh, looks like the Ace is pushing up here. Looks like the Wamai gets the kill on the Ace. The smoke gets traded out here from the CCTV window. Zafia is holding that CCTV window. We got a good 3v3 here. Great. Oh, and there goes the Ash. Now we're in a 2v3 scenario with the defenders having the advantage. Another one down on the attacking side. Looks like the defenders are going to take this one, and they do. I think that attack just stalled out. They had it set up, and I honestly thought the attackers were going to win there. They had that crossfire, right? CC wall was open, cache wall was open, but really, it looks like that Wamai in top garage was the standstill, right? We said at the beginning of the round that's going to be very hard to clear that top garage. The attackers decided to not clear top garage, and it looks like, it kind of messed them up there at the end, and Wamai picked up 2 important kills.
Yeah, the minute that wall was breached by that Hibana, right? You saw immediately right there on that moment, there was your chance to actually enter and begin those gunfights and start trading out those kills. We didn't exactly see that. We saw two or three operators sitting on the outside there, including that Hibana, kind of waiting for somebody to peek, right?
Yeah.
The defense did a great job of hiding behind sight, sitting on that backside. They basically knew where everybody was attacking from that one solidified angle, especially after they took down that Jaeger. But nonetheless, not exactly what you would expect that offense to shake out like. My assumption is that maybe a little bit of a miscommunication in exactly what they were attempting to push there. Yep. But nonetheless, they are going to be looking to make some changes as we see the church play come out here from the defense.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like they're going to try a different site here on the November side. And we were talking about it before, how November kind of has those communications, right? They had a lot of pressure there, right? The attack had those good sight lines set up, had those good crosses, but November stayed calm, right? I'm sure they were very, very intense in their comms, but at the same time, that level of calm was there so they could still focus and, counter the execute coming from the attack. But here on the defense, looks like we're going to be bringing a Goyo instead of that Wamai, and the rest of the lineup is the same. We still have Sir Mepsalot on that Jaeger, Schwitz on Maestro, Yogi Berra on Smoke, and Okami on Melusi. So, pretty straightforward. And the great thing with Melusi right now, as you can see, she's kind of like Jaeger, right? She puts down her 3 gadgets, right? Those gadgets that slow you down whenever you come in that radius of effect, right? It just slows you down so much, and it has that super annoying womp 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 sound. And she kind of just puts them down. She can go frag out, right? She has the MP5 now, which definitely has a good enough gun to frag out on. Iconically used on Doc. Looks like we're going to see some impact tricking here. Looks like they don't get the impact trick. That completely missed. It looks like this Maestro might actually get caught out in this verticality play. Looks like they were going for the impact play, but they didn't have it set up right. And now we have that hatch open into Arsenal room on this basement attack really early, right? We still have 2 minutes left. They're already playing vertically. Looks like they have a good amount of map control. Looks like they're droning to clear bar right now. Most of them are still in and around kitchen, but here we go. We have a Jaeger on the roam on second floor.
Yeah, I think this is more so the attacking push that you were looking for, right? Playing that verticality, playing that top down. Now, mind you, it is in basement, not necessarily that you have a choice in the matter. But I am curious to see how this plays out. I think this team is more well equipped equipped to make those challenges and attempt those gunfights from the top down. Given how hesitant they were to push horizontally in that first round, I'm very curious to see exactly how this plays out playing into this basement point. But nonetheless, defense still, you're not seeing, aside from that Jaeger, floated a little bit in that first round as well, trying to get a couple peeks there if he can as he goes for some drone hunting. But nonetheless, I mean, not exactly what you would expect from the offensive side in that first round, but the defense still sticking with their same mentality here, that Jaeger's still roaming, the rest of the team is still hanging out on site as much as possible. This offense, I'm going to be very curious to see what they do here.
Yeah, exactly. This Jaeger's just time wasting right now, and that's so effective, right? Clubhouse is a big map. If you don't take the time to drone and clear the entire map, which takes a long time, right? If you know, hey, there's one roamer there, maybe we just decide to trade him off, right? He might get one of us, but we'll just trade him off real fast on a quick pinch. But look at this Jaeger. They're just not really paying attention to him right now, and he's picking up kills. But right now, Ace is planting right now. Looks like they have some decent coverage, and I believe this plant's about to go down. The plant is down. We have one player in the dirt tunnel right now, and that coverage is huge. And there we go, 2 quick kills, 3 quick kills. Smoke does trade one back. This is a 1v3 for this Smoke. Looks like the defense was in great position, but all they forgot to do, the most important part, is defend the plants.
Yeah, and I mean, exactly what we were talking about before, right? I think the way in which this November team is playing so far is more well-equipped to play that verticality, as we see exactly right there that despite the defensive positioning, they were still able to get down there and get the plant and hold that ground and basically force the defense out of positioning, which is, I mean, exactly what you want from an offensive side is to take which is exactly what we see here. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the exact same run from this offense again from Sierra, and I wouldn't be surprised if they play it the exact same way they did that last round.
Yeah, we got a good look at the scoreboard there. The Ace burnt Tricky, I believe that's how you pronounce that, .PC. Looks like he's the top fragger right now with 3 kills. He has 3 and 1. Obviously, I'm pretty sure he picked up 2 kills in that last round, which was pretty an integral part. And he got the plant down too. So definitely an early MVP if we had to pick one after 2 rounds. But, like you said, they flushed the defense out of those important positions, right? I don't think the Smoke ever threw one of his toxic bays.
No.
And those are so important because that's how you defend that plant, right? You throw it underneath that hatch and they really can't drop and plant because if they do, they're going to, inhale that toxic gas and start to die pretty quickly, right? Also, I was surprised because there was an evil eye. One of Maestro's camera was still up covering the plant spot. So I really have no idea how the defense just did not see this plant coming. But we are tied 1-1 right now. We are going back to the basement to try it again. And maybe this time they'll be able to be like, hey, they're planting. Maybe we should do something about that. Use the evil eye, use the smokes, and really maybe be able to counter that plant a little better this time.
Yeah, we're also seeing the Valk come out for this November side as well. So hopefully to gather a little bit more intel. It seemed to be that they were a little bit discombobulated on that push from the offense. Didn't quite exactly know what angles to hold when they did push, despite it being such a concise and linear push from the Sierra side. But that Valkyrie should give them a little bit more intel. I say that as the Valk goes down. Cams are still active, of course, but nonetheless, the Valk will fall to an early gunfight there. Not exactly what you want to see from the defense, 15 seconds into the match. But like you said before, it is going to come down to the smoke and the area denial that presents itself with. We're still going to see this Jaeger is going to be floating around as much as possible, roaming around the map, trying to get a couple picks. Seems has worked out, traded out most of his kills so far, so hasn't exactly lended itself towards any sort of validity, towards improving their chances in this game. But nonetheless, this offensive side is one up, hopefully looking to take a 2-1 lead early in this series.
I hate to cut you off here right now, but Ash is in sight right now. I have no idea how Ash is in sight with still more than 2 minutes left. And the Zofia just that's the round. It's a flawless round. Literally, the Ash walked into sight with 2:20 left in the entire round and held this position, forced the defenders over there at the edge of Arsenal to get stuck underneath that vertical play from Kitchen. And it was a flawless round, a perfect 5-0, 5 alive, 0 dead.
Big shout out to Burnt Tricky there. That ace dropped down into the site from the hatch and was able to pick up 2 huge double kills for his team there. Completely caught the defense off guard, and that's exactly how you want to play that as the offense, right? That's the exact thing that we didn't see in that first round that they've improved so far in the last 2 rounds, is basically forcing their way onto that point as much as possible, using their breach characters, and that's exactly what we saw on that push specifically.
Yeah, exactly. I think, Team Sierra is quickly realizing, hey, we have a much higher fragging potential than our opponents. So let's go frag, right? Let's get into sight. Let's drone let's let the support player just drone in the Ash, drone in the Zofia, and make those big plays, right? Get into sight early. If you're not going to hold blue stairs, you're not going to hold, blue at all, then this is what's going to happen. They're just going to walk into sight, have a fantastic position, and then kill you, right? We saw one person in the dirt tunnel, 2 people underneath kitchen in Arsenal. The Jaeger, the Valk died early, and the Jaeger is off in no man's land, really, which I'm starting to think that Sir Mepsalot's not helping his team a lot.
Yeah, the roaming, I think, worked that first round. That first round that the defense won, they were able to pick up the kill from the Jaeger and gain that advantage, which was the main contributing factor towards a lot of those stalls on that first map, or the first point, excuse me.
Yep.
But nonetheless, I think that round does fall to that Valkyrie, right? The minute that Valkyrie falls down and you lose that 5th person gathering that intel, that's mainly what allowed that ace to basically drop down into hatch uncontested and pick up that huge double kill that led to that victory. And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we see the same sort of verticality played here by the Sierra side. But November, again, it is going to come down to them not using any area denial so far. Yeah. You called it in that first match that we saw Ace dropped onto site virtually within the first 45 seconds of the match, which is not what you want as the defending side.
Yeah, absolutely. They were there. Like, they're just, I don't know what they're doing, but they're not doing much. But here, we have a very similar lineup to the first time we were at CCTV. The only change is that Bandit, or it's now a Bandit instead of a Maestro, right? So they're kind of taking away their intel play, and they're going to use that Bandit probably to deny the walls, right? They realize that, hey, last time CC, we maybe lost because, we didn't have the best wall denial. Actually, no, they won that. I don't know what I'm talking about. They go back there because they got that dub, but it looks like the defense is off to a good start with 2 kills early, 3 kills early. The smoke is down right now from that vertical play, but it looks like he'll probably be safe on site to pick back up at some point. He is picked up now. We see Burnt Tricky kind of below. He's going to use his ace charges to open up the floor from beneath. Obviously, right now he's just trying to get anything going right now. Maybe pick up a kill and make it a 2v4 and make it somewhat doable. But I mean, if the defense gets this next kill here and it's a 1v5, we never really see that kind of turn to anything good. And now they open those holes, right? Holes work both way. They're trying to play from below and flush out the anchors, but now they lost that control. All of a sudden, the defenders can look down, and when you have that top-down advantage, it's an advantage.
Yeah, and Okami picking up a huge double kill early in this round to basically take out that sledge first and foremost. That's a huge, and second the Zofia. That's exactly what you want from the offense. 2 huge picks, especially on that sledge, who's going to be breaching a lot of big things for you. As we see that smoke does come out, that's one of the first times we've seen the smoke gas come out for some area denial. Excellent use there. They are aware that both members of the offense are there. We do see a charge come out, not quite yet. But nonetheless, this defense is holding tight, holding their position, forcing this ace and the rest of this offensive side to make the push onto site. But they have the complete and total numbers advantage here, so I wouldn't be surprised if they stall out the point for the rest of the 30 seconds.
Yep, exactly. Oh, and there we go. Jaeger picks up 1. He has the second one in his bead, and there goes Sir Mepsalot. I kind of called him out at the beginning of the round that he wasn't doing much for his team.
He heard you.
And he's like, no, I'm going to take one of the best guns in defense, the 416C. I'm going to play site. And I'm going to pick up, I think he got 3, if I believe. I'm pretty sure he did get 3. Definitely got the last 2 there. Yep, the producer man says he got 3 that round. Obviously, he started his game. He's like, yep, I'm not falling behind anymore. I am 5-3 on the game so far through 4 rounds. Great KD there. Obviously, we know KD isn't everything. But his counterpart up there at Burnt Tricky is 5-2. So maybe this kind of duel kind of defines the rounds. Who's going to win, the Jaeger or the Ace?
Yeah, those are some big kills coming out there from Okami and from Sir Mepsalot that last round, right? We saw that both of them were able to pick up all 5 kills between the 2 of them. Those first 2 kills coming from Okami super early in the round, which was preceded very quickly by that Jaeger picking up that first kill, which, I mean, again, the minute you go down 2-5 very early on in the match, that's not a good sign as an offending team, which is exactly what led to them, not being able to push the way they necessarily needed to, despite that ace having the breach that he has. But nonetheless, we are tied back up again at 2-2. One of these teams is looking to make and take a little bit of an advantage here, but so far, as the scoreboard reflects, there's not a lot to differentiate between these two teams. We've seen some quick adjustments come on the fly. We've seen some operator rotations come out from both of these teams, and we've seen some different play styles. Right, the Jaeger was roaming around the map very early on in the first 3 to 4 rounds, and now we see that the Jaeger is not doing that at all. The Jaeger is actually playing on site there, was able to pick up 3 swift kills early on in that map. So, I mean, very different team that we're seeing so far, and that's exactly what you want to see from both of these teams, is their ability to make those quick adjustments on the fly.
Yeah, absolutely. It is very important to make those adjustments. And right now, we're seeing a very interesting adjustment coming out from Sierra. They're bringing a Ying, right? Ying has those 3 Candelas right now that, basically make sight into a rap concert, right? Lots of flashing lights and loud noises all at once. But the interesting thing is right now, like, the defense has brought Wamai and Jaeger 3 out of the 4 rounds played so far. And, like, Wamai and Jaeger counter Zofia, or not Zofia, well, they counter Zofia as well and her gadgets, but, they catch all those projectiles. So I'm not really sure why they think Ying's a good play right now, because, like, those Yings are more likely going to be eaten up. They can't really burn most of those. Like, they have 2 smokes they could throw into sight. You don't really want to use your smokes to burn those ADSs and Wamai magnets. And then other than that, you have 6 flashes, which burns all of the Jaeger ADSs. But what are you going to do about the Wamai magnets? So not really sure what the plan is here, but the Jaeger does pick up 1. I believe that is over on the Cash CC side. Looks like they are having that split set up, which is super common, right? You bring the castle, you cut off some sight lines, especially in gym. You open up that Cash into construction wall like we see here. And then you kind of just sit in Cash and wait for them, right? Looks like they did get that kill and then back off because now they do have Cash control, which is really important for the attacks. Right now that you have Cash control, you also have CC control, so you can play these balconies more effectively. Looks like, yep, there he is, just kind of running around the entire map. He's running out of strip club right now. They try to peek these balconies. Right now, we still see that balcony play. That Zofia is just pre-firing some pretty common angles. We have someone playing behind the mattress and behind the bomb in Master. I'm sure there's someone in bathroom, kind of hard to tell right now. But it looks like the attack is kind of just stalling right now, which is fine, right? They have a minute left in the round. They just picked up a kill, so now we have an even man kill. They're just playing their angles, right? They have the map control they want. They're just droning for information, gonna go through some utility burn, make sure the defense doesn't have any more of those annoying smokes. Oh, smoke's not on the board. Probably clear those evil eyes, eat some of those ADSs, eat some of those Wamai. Speaking of ADSs, they are eating those right now. Looks like they do have an evil eye left. Maestro does pick up a kill here, and then Jaeger picks up another one. We trade off the Maestro. They do know one is in Logi office right now. Let's see if they can catch this Jaeger. No, it looks like the Legion catches one, and it looks like this is kind of a definitely a 1v2, and the Wamai is down. So definitely a 1v2. 2 people are up. See if Burnt Tricky can pull this off. I think he has a decent bid.
Burnt Tricky is the kill leader for his team right now. Both players of that team holding that angle. He does pick up one, looking for that second kill, not quite able to do it. Excellent stall there by the defender, able to hold that corner back, push that long angle as much as possible to waste that clock. Excellent play there by the defense. And what we saw there is a lot of what we've seen in most of their 3 victories so far is they are able to stall that offense as much as possible, right? This is a team, especially with Burnt Tricky in ace, they are trying to get onto site as quickly as possible, which is exactly how they've won their 2 rounds. And the main key to success here for November is stalling that out as much as possible, which is what we saw there. Like you saw the castle taking away those sight lines, holding those angles, basically holding that split push as much as they possibly can, slowing it down, forcing the time onto the offensive side. And then once they had numbers, they just kind of sat back and wait. So excellent play there from the defense. That's exactly what they've been doing so well so far. So this is, leading up to be a relatively even-sided match. But, I mean, both teams, it seems to be that when they're clicking, they're really clicking, and there's not a whole lot that the other team can really do about it.
Yeah, exactly. Each team in each of these 5 rounds that have come past so far, it really is, it seems like they find a groove per the round, like you were saying, right? Looks like those Jaeger, the attack or the defense kind of finds their groove in that round. It becomes autopilot at that point. and then they just finish their execute or finish their defense and grab the round. Most of the time, those final executes have been pretty one-sided. We haven't seen like a massive 3v3, 4v3 execute go down where it's kind of anyone's game. You know, is pretty one-sided. You know, it's kind of the mid-round that decides who's going to win. But here, we are going back to basement for the last defensive round from November here. They want to get this 4-2 split, right? Having a 4-2 split is the expected split on that defensive side, right? A 3-3 is considered an attacking-sided win for that half of the match. Looks like we're bringing Bandit again. It looks like they might want to deny the church wall this time. They do realize that last time the attackers Team Sierra went to that heavy vertical play both times. So maybe they're trying to predict that, hey, we think they're actually going to go, you know, the opposite and go for maybe a church wall take. So we're going to bandit that wall up and make sure that they can't get that wall open. But really same thing here. They open that hatch early. The bandit or the impact tricking just isn't working. I'm really not sure why. That's pretty straightforward in today's game. But they haven't really been able to deny that hatch for more than 40 seconds, which really doesn't count as anything.
The key to the site for them here, I think, is going to be slowing down Burnt Tricky. I mean, obviously, he's fragging out. He's the kill leader right now for the Sierra squad, but this is the exact site that we've seen him push and make these very, very aggressive pushes onto site super early. So this is going to be the key to them is trying to get that pick early to maybe take a numbers advantage here on this defensive site, but the more that they can do to slow down the breach and the kills from Ace here, the more that they're going to be able to be successful.
Yeah, this is crazy. Right now, the Jaeger Sir Mepsalot is in dirt tunnel, peeking outside of the Habana hole. I believe that was a Habana hole. Maybe it was an Ace hole. I'm not quite sure. But he's just running out of that hole, just really with no fear at all, trying to find someone on that kitchen exit right there from the freezer. Hasn't been very successful yet. Looks like they might have a bid on this. Trying to sniff out where this Jaeger is being played. And we say, you know, Sir Mepsalot kind of goes directly to where the action is, right? If he thinks there's a gunfight to be won, he's there, right? He swings everything, kind of has that ranked mentality, which isn't bad to have. You know, you need that player that will eat some people alive. Maestro does get the first kill here. He does get Burnt Tricky, which is huge. That's their top fragger right now, so they lose a good amount of gun power, especially with the AK-12 down and dead for the rest of the round. So we'll see if they can pull this back. But you know, I kind of have to give this to the defense right now. They have that man advantage, and they have a ton of utility. They have a smoke, they have a Malusi, they have Evil Eyes. Haven't really seen most of those ADSs burnt yet. So I'm going to predict this is going to end up being a defensive round. Yep, another one from Sir Mepsalot. Trying to trade back the Malusi. They get the Malusi. I don't think they see the Maestro. They definitely don't see the Maestro. They're literally right behind him. Yep, I'm about to say, what is the Maestro doing? Looks like they're traded off. Now it's a 2v2. This is actually kind of close now. We have the Ace drop into sight. Looks like they're both in Arsenal, the Ace and the Ash. And the last two defenders are both stuck in Church. One's rotating into blue right now. The plant is going down. I'm not sure if that smoke missed. They get one. This is a 1v2 situation. The bomb is down. They have a ping on where this is. This should be an easy win. This should be an easy retake. They have good intel. They still have toxic babes, which I have no idea why. And there we go. They do kill that last player, the Habana. And this is an easy defuse. And we see that 4-2 split, which is, you know, not the best thing in the world, but it is the expected split. You know, obviously that 5-1 is better, you know, going in with that larger advantage because Clubhouse is still a defender-sided map pretty heavily.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right. And, you know, that's exactly what we saw that first map from that round. Is we saw that Ace go down early in Burnt Turkey, right? We saw Burnt Turkey go down super early, took away a lot of their, their early momentum onto site. And then from there, it was mainly just keeping that numbers advantage. Very good at trading out kills. The minute somebody went down, they were able to take somebody else with them. And it looks like early on this switch here, we are going to see Sierra take, of course, that CCTV side super early and hold cash and CCTV. Super common from them, as expected. We are going to see also a very similar character pool come out for both of these teams here. We do see the smoke come out and the Jaeger as well as the Maestro and the Malusi for Sierra. But on this, very interesting here, we do see the IQ and the Thermite come out. So how do you think the Thermite's going to be playing into this, as we haven't seen the Thermite play quite yet on this map?
Yeah, they didn't bring Thermite at all. They stuck with that Habana and Ace play, which has kind of been the typical meta lately. Thermite has died off a little bit because the Ace kind of takes his job, right? He has 3 of those Ace charges that open up not quite as big a hole, but it's still a pretty big hole. But that, Thermite obviously having the biggest and most explosive exothermic charge for that hard breach side. So you only need one thermite charge to basically open up an entire double wall. So it looks like they're definitely going to use this on that CCTV wall. And I assume if they stick with this lineup, they're going to be a church attacking team, right? They're going to attack that triple church wall, clear out Arsenal, play a little vertically over Arsenal and Kitchen, and then be able to take that church wall and go for that plant behind the church half bar. So I'm super excited to see this different kind of lineup here. A little more flex, like we said, November isn't a bunch of Ash Jaeger maids, right? We kind of saw that from Sierra, bringing Ash and Zafia every single time, which is kind of a staple in the meta right now anyways, because they both bring a lot of utility. Ironically enough, Ash has always been the person that's kind of, brain dead running and gunning, but now, she does bring very valuable utility that is critical to clearing out the defensive utility. But we kind of see the same strategy employed by the defense right now. Pretty default strategy from playing top garage and roaming lightly in lounge and in master on that other side of the map, where that Jaeger kind of has freedom to do whatever he thinks is necessary. The Maestro does take a little bit of damage, takes about 50 damage. I'm not sure from where, maybe below, or maybe an early peak from Cash. Not really sure what that happened there. So I'm super excited to see how this kind of plays out. Looks like we're going to go from a dual-sided push. Looks like they are going to use that, actually going to use the Thermite to attack the Cash wall. It looks like the Ace is going to take care of that exterior wall and Cash, and then the exterior CCTV wall, which is super important. See a default anchor position from Burnt Tricky. He is playing the top of garage, trying to open up some more sight lines. He has that revolver that has some decent caliber-based destruction to open up some sight lines in soft walls. We still have the Malusi playing in the same spot that November had them playing in their defensive split in that blue lounge area. But it does look like Ace has opened up the Cash wall. I'm not really sure what this Thermite is doing. It looks like he might die here. Nope, he gets away unscathed, but the Maestro's one hit right now. Literally any kind of breath on him at all is going to kill him. And we see the same attack that we saw in the CC attack from the very first round of this double-sided push. They try to peek, they trade off the Ash, and here we go. We're going to the execute, Gray.
Yeah, no, and you said it. This is the exact same push that we saw before. As Burnt Turkey takes down Switch to take the man advantage here, take it up to 4-3. We do still have this Thermite up on the board as well. Does not seem to have any charges left, but nonetheless is still going to be somewhat viable here with his gun and his kit. But we are going to see that player is picked up. And right off the bat, we are seeing a very, very similar push that we saw here from the opposing side, and when Sierra was offending here as well. They do go a man down here, but they trade it out super quickly, still maintaining that 2-2. They do take the advantage here. Never mind, I take it all back.
Yeah, they actually had a really successful attacking execute here. The Thermite ends up planning on this table and Cash, which is incredibly a strong plant spot, because you can't be C4'd from below, right? You're on a table, so you're vaulted. That damage is not going to kill you most times, but this is Siege. Wild things happen all the time. And you can cover the angles really easily, right? You can see both doorways into CC, and then usually the rotation to top red, also the construction doorway. Usually, that's where your second teammate or your third teammate's going to be to hold those flanks. And we see them, they get that plant down, and they held those really strong post plant, right? You sit on the diffuser on that table, you can cover the two angles pretty easily, and then your teammate, either in construction or on the balcony, can see the flanks and cover the flanks to make sure that the Thermite can just deal with those close angles and not have to worry about any deeper angles as well. So overall, a really great attack from that side, and if they take this momentum, looks like this might be kind of an early wrap. If they can take this for 2 more rounds, they're one round away from match point. Looks like they are going to go back to CCTV, try this again. They were close. Yep. They were close. The ban count was, really similar. It ended up being a 2v2 at the end. So maybe, they just use those smokes more effectively. And maybe they can catch this this round dub.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right. And we are going to see here that it looks like Swift is going to be playing that red stairs. We do see the Thermite and the Ace come back out for this offense side again, which I do think was a large contributing factor towards their success in the previous round. And why they're up 5-2 right now is the ability to use those characters to open up as much of those sight lines as possible, right? Yep. We saw that every single attacking play by the Sierra side in order to take a man down was very quickly traded out from November, just simply because they were able to take take advantage of those sight lines and the openness that they created in the map with those two characters. So well played so far by Schwitz and Yoki here on Thermite and Ace. I'm looking to most likely see that again here as we approach into this round. But nevertheless, we are going to be seeing CCTV, so we're probably going to see similar things from both teams here. November looking to trade some kills out. Sierra looks like they are playing a little bit more passively than they were in the previous round. They're holding the back of sight more so than the upper angles towards that cash wall like we saw in the first round. But nonetheless, this is going to be another interesting map to see exactly how these two teams can adapt to each other's playstyle.
Yeah, absolutely. We have, that better cover, right? That smoke is behind a deployable shield on the top of red. I think that was there before. I'm not really sure. I don't think we got a good look at that last time. The Malusi is still below. They're really just like they're running back their strat from a defensive side. Like, hey, guys, we were very close last time. We know we can execute this strat a little bit better from that defensive perspective. And let's try to, do that. Let's try to execute just 10% better. And I think, just a 10% better execute gets them this round W, and then, from there they can go on to a different site and get back on track. Because, 5-2, although it is a 3-round differential, that really isn't that far, especially being that Sierra, the team that's losing right now, is on the defense. I don't know how, okay, nope. So they got the thermite there, which is super, super important. That charge had not gone off yet. So they lose both those thermite charges. Yoki Berra is dead, but it is traded off pretty instantly, playing from the bar below up through that hatch, which is super common. But this is why Ace is so good. He's just like, yeah, we don't have a thermite. Yeah, no problem. I'm just kind of, open that wall. We do see another trade here as the Wamai gets traded for the Ace. So that's the rest of the hard breach. So the hard breach and two of those newer operators coming out this year, Wamai and Malusi, go down as well. IQ is got from the bathroom. So now there's a defensive advantage. Looks like the Jaeger is trapped here. This is definitely not a good position to be in, but the Ashe is the last one. So let's see if she can get traded off here. They know exactly where she is. She is in Master. It looks like they're going to say, no, we're not going to press these angles. We're going to play the cross here. They have a good cross set up here, one in cash and one in on that corner door as well. Timmy takes swift care of that Ashe. And now Sierra's back on track, right? 3-5. They can definitely go to the next site, win that, and make it a one-round differential.
Yeah, they definitely needed to win that CCTV round that second time around, right? They really needed that one to get the momentum back. They are still within 2 rounds of being, close to this November side, but that's exactly how you want to defend, right? We saw the adjustments that they made going into that match. They knew the hard breach was going to be coming out from the offense there on both sides, from the thermite and from the Ace, and they knew they needed to hold the back of sight, which they did. They set up mainly in that back red stairs area, more so towards the back of sight than what we saw holding them those earlier angles earlier in that the round before. But nonetheless, I mean, well played by them. That's the exact win that you need to get. And of course, nonetheless, we are going to be seeing the Church Arsenal come out here as their next defensive hold. Similar things coming out here as we do see the Ashe again. We do see the Ace. We are also going to see a Habana come out now and a Sledge. So that Habana is going to come out instead of the Thermite from what we saw before, which may give them a little bit more verticality in how they can play, right? They may be able to play a little bit more top down than they were able to prior. But nonetheless, still to me, the wild cards here for both teams are going to be Okami and Yoki. Okami, as we've seen, is going to be the main person trading out a lot of those kills. We've seen her Okami engage in a lot of gunfights so far that have put November in an advantageous position on the offensive side. But again, Burnt Turkey and Swift on the other side are still making moves themselves. Burnt Turkey again rocking that smoke, which we saw a lot of in the previous 2 rounds on CCTV. So this is going to be another interesting one to see exactly how they approach this. We could see something very similar to what we saw when the opposing sides were switched, but I would not be surprised if we see a very different strategy come out here from November, looking to get just 1 round away from victory.
Yeah, exactly. Making a match point, it's that mental aspect too, right? Once you can't lose a round or you lose the map, you get a little more nervous, right? The heartbeat kind of spikes just a little bit. Your brain's just a little less sure of everything, of all of your plays, and usually that kind of, just sets you on tilt just a little bit. And that usually results in that round loss and that map loss as well. But let's hope Sierra doesn't do that. That is one of my teams in Rainbow Six that I coach. So I'm really hoping they can pull this back and start the season off with a W. Looks like we do have early control here. The Ashe is kind of just really fearlessly going through the site right now. I do see a drone near her feet, so I'm sure she was droned in. But even then, looks like she was just saying like, hey, we know they're camping on site, which does seem that way. I don't see any roamers. I haven't seen any roamers at all on the map. I see 3, 4, yep, all 5 are in the basement right now. So there are no roamers. They are playing a turtle strat, trying to deny the hatches and deny vertically. Okay, the Maestro just saw 2 people walk over that hole and didn't fire 1 single bullet. And he gets killed. I feel like he could have played that a little bit better.
Yep.
Don't want to give him too much criticism, but, you know, at least pre-fire and then back away, right? Because they're going to peek that again, and they're going to pre-fire where you're going to be. And then get that kill pretty easily. So now the defense is down. We have 1 minute and 20 seconds left. Looks like the Jaeger is on the flank right now. He does go up the ladder from oil pit into garage. And he's going to slow crouch walk this all the way down. I think they know there's someone in blue. Yep, this Jaeger should definitely know there's someone in blue. Should be an easy kill. Yep, this is an easy kill. He does get the headshot, and he's going to rotate all the way around. He needs to rotate pretty quick, though. You know, his team right now is still in a man disadvantage with him not being part of the play right now. So he needs to get back to site. I would say go back down blue. You know no one's in blue right now. Looks like they are going for that church wall. Execute without the thermite, which is perfectly fine. You can do that with Ace because Ace is insane. We do get rid of an evil eye there. Yeah, Ace just has an insane kid with 3 basically mini thermites. You know, those open up a hole roughly the size of a thermite, minus about 20-25%. They do use the, looks like they use definitely the Ace charges there. But we do get a couple of trades out, and the defense is back in the advantage, right? We got a person in blue, person peeking down long hall, and then the Jaeger's on the flank, and the last person is trying to plant right here. Does get the kill. This Ledge is in a 1v2. He does hop out. He has 15 seconds to make a play, and they're already collapsing on site. And I love to see that play, right? Yep. They know where that last player is. He's smoked out. They know that he just killed a guy in the flank, so they know he's on that church wall. So, like, hey, we have a 2v1. Let's make sure we don't make it 2 1v1s. Let's keep it tight. Let's have those crosses. Let's get a really great, hey, if he rotates this way, smokes in the hallway, he'll kill him. If he comes out from behind the bar, the other player that was last alive, not sure which operator it was, will also, that's a really easy kill. So great overall site execute on the defensive side. And now, like I said, you know, you get two round wins in a row. You do have to go to that off site here. You know, honestly, you know, Gym Bedroom recently it's kind of come to the meta as a pretty favorite. TSM loves to play that over some other sites. So, you know, if the pros love it, they love it for a reason, right?
Yeah.
So,
no, I mean, and like you said before, those are 2 huge round wins there for Sierra on to start off this defense, right? They took the loss there to go down 5-2, but these have been 2 huge, absolute big, massive victories here for them on these previous two maps, these 2 defensive holds here. Like you said, they are going to the offsite, so it is going to be interesting to see exactly how they set up for this. I would assume they're going to be mimicking a little bit of TSM strats here, but we do see the Ace and the thermite and the sledge come back out here for November. So they are still going to be looking to hard breach. I would assume that they know exactly what site they're going to be on, and I would not be surprised that, again, they should be playing a little bit more vertically here, right? That's not what we saw in the previous round. We saw Timmy die to one of those characters super early on from above, but nothing actually ever came of that. There was no push that followed. There was no trade out that followed. There was nothing that actually followed that up from the offense in terms of playing upward or top down.
Yep.
Which I would assume is exactly what they're trying to do here, just based off strictly the operators that they've chosen, which I think would lend themselves towards the most amount of success that you could possibly have. But nonetheless, it is still going to be interesting to see, as this is the first offsite we've seen so far in this series.
Yeah, exactly. You know, they might go below to just a little bit of verticality. Definitely maybe throw a few nades up to the hashes and see what happens. But here again, Timmy early goes down to like 3 health. I'm not sure that was off just one of those random pre-files that, you know, usually you rappel up to that balcony outside and you just start pre-firing the common angles. And it looks like they do catch the mute. And he goes down. Looks like they do get a nade through somewhere. He's in the bathroom. I'm not sure exactly where that came from. Maybe they lobbed it over that bathroom wall, but they do get him down. Oh, that wall is soft. Why is that wall soft? That makes no sense. That bathroom wall usually isn't soft.
We're all learning stuff together here, Tails.
Yeah, maybe that's just a graphics issue right now. You know, sometimes that wall doesn't render all the way. You know, usually you don't leave that wall completely soft, but it looks like that's what Sierra's gonna go for. You know, and right now I think the advantage. Oh, and like I said, the advantage. Oh, there we go. So Ace dies. Lucy gets traded out almost instantly as they're trying to collapse on cash and gain control of that cash, because you get a lot of great cross angles once you take control of that cash site. Looks like we do have a defender roaming in bar right now. Yep. He is roaming in bar right now, trying to hold below. That is that castle, which we see that's a pretty big common spot. Bolo used to play that a lot for TSM, you know, one of the iconic players, if not the most iconic player. I'm not sure what that Asher was doing. Oh my God. Sorry to stop my train of thought completely, but that Asher was just like, yeah, I'm hopping into sight. My team isn't doing really anything right now, so I'm going to vault in this window into the actual site where there's at least 2 or 3 people alive right now and try to do something. And I believe it was the Legion was just like, that's funny.
I didn't see anybody drone him in either, so I'm not exactly sure what the thought process was there in terms of jumping into that site. But we do see Okami picking up a huge kill here on Timmy midway through this round. About 40 seconds remaining. We do want to see November make a pretty aggressive push here onto the site. As they do, Yoki, of course, picking up another huge kill there on the Legion to take him down on site, to take a 3-2 advantage. And it does look like the offense is on site right now. And there goes the plant, just exactly
they have
like
a cross
that.
in Logic. Yeah, that's an easy kill right there from the person playing prone in Logic. We do get a trade-off. This is a 1v2. This is possible that, that rotate's going to be very hard to get across, right? That door is castled off, and there is no rotate in the soft wall in bathroom, and there's no hole. There's nothing that they can do there. This thermite does fall, which might be a little tricky. We do have one player outside cash. Looks like he's going to try to stick this. Let's see. Does he have the... Oh, nope, he doesn't. Oh, he gets one. He has to get this kill quick. He's about 8 seconds. Oh, he knows where he is. He downed him. What are you doing? Just go defuse. Sorry. That was just, the old competitive Kyle coming off. So he downs him, right? And he's like, hey, I'm just going to go and get my kill instead of defusing the bomb and winning the round for my team. And then he's like, oh, no, hold on a minute. I'm actually going to go win the round, be a team player, as you should be, and win the round. So that is kind of awesome to see. Sorry, I kind of lost my cool a little bit.
No, you were getting into it. I love it, as you should, because Sierra has come back to tie this one up at 5-5. We said it from the very beginning. These two teams do seem very evenly matched. We've seen very different strategies come out from both sides here. It seems that this November side is a little bit more defensive heavy than they are offensive heavy. We've seen a couple really, really good pushes, but also a couple ones that it's like, why are you jumping in that window? So there's been a couple scenarios here where you're kind of questioning exactly what the goal of this November side is on the offense. But nonetheless, they do seem very comfortable and strong in their operators that they have chosen. And I would not be surprised if they are looking to make some adjustments. We did see that after the first 2 rounds on the defensive side for November, they made a couple heavy adjustments in terms of A, their operator pool, and B, exactly how they were playing that site, right? So much of this competitive environment, like we were talking about earlier with communication and all these different moving parts that come into Siege, so much of it is going to come down to exactly what those adjustments look like when you get into the match. So far what we've seen is that November is really good at making those adjustments. They will need to do that right now to gain some momentum back, end this 3-round losing streak that they're on, and hopefully put themselves back on top on the way to this series victory.
Yeah, Sierra has all the momentum in the world right now. Winning that 1v2 is incredibly important for momentum, right? Honestly, the attack should have won that round, right? They were in a 1v3 position. Granted, not really because he got traded off and it was a 1v2 pretty quick. But at the same time, that Thermite made a mistake. He accidentally fell through the hatch, which maybe it was on purpose. If it was, probably still a mistake. You don't typically want to do that. He should have just hopped out onto the balcony. And if you have 2 players, one person was in Logic, another person on the balcony, you win that round. But that Thermite made a misstep, quite literally fell through the hatch, had to rotate back into a disadvantageous gunfight for himself. And then, as I clearly pointed out, this might... Oh, nope. Okay, the IQ wins that. I think that's the IQ. Nope, that is Schwitz. Yep. That is the ace.
That's the ace. Big kill there by Schwitz.
Yep, gets traded
Swift
out.
is going to get the trade out there on Meps, and we are still going to see a pretty even fight here come out. But, the Malusi on the defense there is super low on health. Okami is also super low on health, and, it looks like Ryan's about to die. Gets a light breeze will down him, but
he just thinks about dying, he might drop dead.
Yeah, no, this is going to be very interesting to see how this plays out, because we are looking at a pretty even numbers game, but nonetheless across the board in terms of actual health, it seems to be that there's not going to be a whole lot of contesting done by this offensive side on those long angles. They are going to be looking for a little bit more advantageous positioning, maybe trying to force the defenders out of some positions, which is exactly what we saw this defending team do with some of their smoke play, right? So we may be looking for some of these plays like this Thermite or this ace to to open up some longer angles and force this defending side out of their positions and out of their holds to hopefully gain a little bit more advantage.
Yeah, it took them a long time to clear that mute jammer, right? At first, I was like, why isn't the wall open? They don't have a, Kaid's banned and Bandit is off the board right now. I'm like, oh, they have a mute. Looks like Zafia does use one of her impact grenades from that launcher to open or to destroy that mute from below. And now they have that wall open. They left the cache wall soft, which is interesting. Some teams elect to do that so they can have an extra panel on site, a hard panel on site somewhere to their liking. We do see the same hold, right? They're playing top of garage with the Wamai. Super common because that Wamai, continuously produces that magnets over time and can really easily just say like, hey, you can't clear me if you throw anything that's throwable or launchable. I'm going to eat it alive with my magnet and laugh at your face. So, they're kind of, both teams like to say like, hey, we're not going to try to clear that person. We're going to deal with him in the site take. And really, we've only seen one success in CC, I think out of the 4 times that we've seen a defense here because that position is so strong. You get the long angle, you can cover the CC window, you can cover the CC wall, and then you can cover the cache wall and the cache doorway from construction. So super important. But we do have the site going in here. There's like the cache wall is not open. And here we go. They're just gonna be like, yeah, our only option is jump through this window. That guy in garage gets 2, and then the other 2 are cleaned up. And Sierra is riding the momentum to match point.
Yeah, no, I mean, super talented defending play here, right? We saw that they did, like you said, they did go down 2-5 on, or excuse me, 2-4 on the defense.
It was 2-5.
No, it was 2. Yeah. It was 2-4 when they were on offense, and they lost that second one. But ever since then, they've been, needless to say, on a roll, winning 4 straight rounds here, which is exactly the adjustments that you want to see coming out from this defense. We have been seeing that their smoke play from Burnt Turkey has been phenomenal. So much area denial and things like that have been forcing them into a couple different advantageous scenarios, and it does look like we have some game crashes there.
We have a rehost. I'm not sure what happened to that player, but one of the players did get dropped from the lobby, and obviously, by default rules, we allow each team to have one rehost. In the case of this, obviously, internet sometimes happens. Sometimes the game just crashes. That's the technical side of esports, right? Football doesn't crash, but esports, titles do, sadly.
Internet.
So we give each team one rehost. That's pretty standard across the board, no matter what league or entity puts on these tournaments. So we are going to get this back up and running. I'm not sure if we're going to a break, but for now, what have we seen so far? Nope, we're going to be good. We're going to keep going here. We're going to rebuild this lobby pretty quick, and right now we have 6-5, an advantage of Sierra.
Yeah, the Sierra side's been super impressive. We've seen a lot of really good contests from them. We've seen a lot of really good plays. We weren't exactly sure what they were doing on defense, right? On offense. They made a couple of questionable situations. It seems that, the November side was kind of running all over them on the defense, forcing them out of a lot of really good positions. But from what we've seen from them so far on defense, this has been really impressive from them. They've made a lot of really good adjustments. November's kind of thrown a lot of stuff at them from the offensive side. Especially staying pretty consistent with their hard breach characters as well, forcing those long angles. But, I mean, honestly, the MVP for me early, it's Burnt Turkey. Not only is he fragging out, but, some of his smoke play recently in these past couple rounds, basically forcing the offense into such awkward positions. That is, the value behind that is immensely impressive. So, for me, already, I think it's Burnt Turkey. I think that's going to be the MVP. But nonetheless, I think if not the MVP, that's been the biggest difference maker for me so far in this series. As they do lead 6-5, I think that's a big contributing factor.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of been this duel that we've been talking about is Burnt Turkey. Or Tricky, was it Turkey?
Turkey.
It's Turkey, Burnt Turkey. Hard to denominate with only 4 letters, but it is Burnt Turkey, as Box Turtle said, versus Sir Meps-a-Lot. Maybe Meeps-a-Lot. I'm not really sure either on that one.
It's Meps.
But Sir Meps-a-Lot. It's kind of been those 2 top fraggers for the team pretty clearly. I think they're both around 13 kills right now, maybe give or take 1 or 2 kills, but they're definitely at the top of the leaderboard for both of their teams. So we'll see. Can Sir Meps-a-Lot, step up here and lead his team to overtime, right? If November takes this round, we will get the very first stream match of Winter Breach going to overtime, which I absolutely love to see. But already we're getting the full 12 rounds, no matter what, as this is round 12 with Sierra getting the 6-5. Looks like the rest of the players are loading in pretty quickly. We do have Sierra here. We're just waiting on November. Obviously, November was the one with a player issue, so I'm sure he is relaunching his game or calling his internet service provider and being like, hey, Can you turn my internet back on? So I'm super excited. Looks like they were, I believe, going to were they going to CCTV? Or are they going to basement? No, they just won CCTV. So that means they can go to basement. They're going to basement. Yep, our producer knows more than we do. They are going to basement. Thank you so much, Mr. Producer, aka Suave. He's awesome. He reminded us they are going to basement for round number 12. So, I think it's going to be pretty telling what the strat is, right? Last time, I believe, when November attacked, they went through that church wall, right? And it quickly became a 1v3 because that Jaeger flanked late in the round. Because really, to flank on Oil Pit, all you have to do is put a Claymore there. Yep. You can't shoot that Claymore on that ladder climb because you can't see it. So if you put a Claymore there and climb that ladder, they die. And they no, we're not going to put a Claymore there. We're going to leave that open. They probably had a cam somewhere there in garage, or maybe the attackers didn't shoot, the attackers didn't shoot the default cam in garage. And they're like, hey, we can just, climb this ladder, go on this flank. And the Jaeger picked up 2 big kills, right? He killed the player playing on the top of blue stairs, holding the flank seemingly, right? And then he also ended up rotating all the way around and getting 1 more kill on main stairs where that main push on the attacking side was happening. So we'll see if they, I think if they put that simple Claymore there, then maybe, this game would have already been over. But unfortunately they didn't. We'll see if they remember that Claymore this time. Looks like we still are waiting for 1 more player. I think it's actually the player who crashed, which, I'm sure it looks like it was a game crash. He's like, no, I'm going to go ahead and restart my PC, as we all should. When your game crashes, you should take the time, do it right the first time. So, you don't drop the second time and leave your team in a disadvantage while you go through all this entire lengthy process.
And, the last time they were on basement, going back to that, talking about that hold, was the exact time that we saw Burnt Turkey force out those players with the smoke and get a huge double kill super early on, and then get that 3rd pick later in that round as well. So, that's exactly what I'm expecting to see here. I'm expecting to see a very passive hold. I would assume that we were going to see a lot of area denial, a lot of holding on to those peaks, because we are going to see some sort of an ace Thermite or ace Habana, operator pool come out from November. So I am assuming that we are going to see something very interesting from this offensive side. But I think that this will be the round that they do take it, if you were to ask me. But I think November has a challenge ahead of them, as they have every bit of momentum working against them right now.
Yeah, exactly. Sierra is now on a 4 rounds in a row win streak. They are going to basement, which I think CCTV is their primary choice. It looks like they've had some pretty good success. But last time, looks like we have all the players back in just before the time limit was up. Obviously, we might be a little flexible there, but I'm super excited. We are going into round 12 here. Sierra has the lead 6-5, going to basement on the defensive side. I am super excited to see what we can do, or what Sierra in November can bring us as we see. Are we, going to have a 7-5, 12 rounds, or are we going to go to overtime? Your pick. Go.
If it were me, I think that, I think it's got to be Sierra here.
Yeah.
I think they take it. I think, they're riding the momentum of 4 straight round wins. Burnt Turkey's been too good on smoke. Their Legion play has been incredible. Swift has been really, really strong on that. Malusi, very consistent across the board. Hasn't done anything exceptionally flashy, but has been very consistent and solid throughout the course of this entire match. So my money is on this Sierra side. That being said, we do see the Jackal come out, right? We do see the Habana now. We do see a Sledge. We do see an Ace. Scratch that. Now we see Thermite. So we're going to have a couple really important hard breach characters here in addition to that Sledge, and the Sophia. So, this is going to be a very, very strong side here coming out from November. They are clearly looking to gain a lot of operator and utility advantage on top of the Sierra side. But nonetheless, I think this is still going to be a Sierra victory. I just don't think it's going to be by much.
Yeah, I think it might come down to the last second. Maybe just deny the plant. We haven't really seen much bomb denial, right? If the plant goes down, the plant kind of just goes down. They either deny the entire push or that bomb, it is ability to be planned. So we'll see what happens here. I do want to talk about one thing that kind of popped in my mind is, chat's been really great. Not the Twitch chat, the chat in the game, right? One thing we preach continuously for Winter Breach and all kind of, Stay Plugged In leads is, no toxicity, right? And the good thing we've seen good competitive banter, right? And we want to always harp that, competitive banter is good, right? Yep. Clean, competitive banter. There's nothing wrong with, having a little fun, calling out your opponent, as long as it's not toxic, right? Competitive banter, when it's healthy, just kind of drives competition up. It's a good little fun thing. Everyone does it, but it's been really clean, right? We've seen a few GNs just for about drones, but no toxic good nights. It's just, when they snipe a drone, we have seen a few GNs, which I'm perfectly fine with. So I'm super excited to see that these 10 players are good, clean players. They're not toxic. They're just here for a super competitive match for some of our Division A teams. And there we go. That might be our first successful impact trick of this entire night. I'm shocked it took 12 rounds.
I'm about to say 1 round away from overtime here as we see that trick come out. But this Habana Breach is going to be coming out here looking to gain a little bit of that side advantage early. But, I mean, nonetheless here, we do see, if you look at that defense, right, that split hold across the board from both sides, and they are holding so passively on as longest angles as possible. So, I mean, this is going to be very interesting. I do think that they are going to have this, but, I mean, right off the bat here, this has been a relatively slow map, but it doesn't seem that Sierra's taken any shots from this November side at all so far.
Yeah, obviously they're still at full health. Timmy hasn't died early or taken any shots. He's kind of been the guy that takes a lot of those early hits, but he stayed clean. And obviously having that Alda on Maestro is so important, right? It is an LMG with 81 rounds that has a high fire rate and a, I'd say medium damage of those bullets. That's a disaster for the best gun in the game.
Yep.
So keeping that alive, especially for the executes, you can literally mow people down. Remember, there was a pro game. I can't remember who it was between, but it was when Alda or Maestro first came out in one of the first pro match days, and I remember this pro getting 3 kills in the same clip. The same magazine, right? Well, it's a drum magazine or whatever. But we do see an early kill here from the Thermite. Obviously, that 6-pick may be turning out good here. I'm not sure they actually used a Thermite charge yet. They are actually bringing 3 hard reach. They're bringing all 3 available hard reach. Maverick is banned, and they're like, yeah, we don't like hard walls. We're going to destroy all of them. That's what they're doing. I think it's working for them.
Yeah,
we might be going to overtime.
Mepsalot grabbing a huge double kill there, but Swift is going to trade that one out. It is going to be a massive advantage here as we see a 2-3, or excuse me, a 1-3 as Ryan gets taken down, but Burnt Turkey's able to get the trade. But the attackers win, and looks like we're heading to overtime.
It's those crosses right there. That sledge was in the perfect position. Maestro almost had that kill on Thermite, and he's like, hey, no, I have this cross. I have the hallway from that hatch. Obviously, very easy to access that hallway angle because you can just drop from the hatch and you can just see it. So that Alda almost, just as I was saying before, almost won a 1v3. Just like we saw in Pro League a long time ago when Maestro first came out. That's how powerful that weapon is. But I'm kind of excited we get overtime. The first streamed match of Winter Breach, right? Our second edition here at Stay Plugged In is Rainbow Six to our recruiting kind of leagues. So I'm super excited to really be able to go the full distance. Maybe we get all 15 rounds. Maybe someone goes 2-0 real quick here. There is no infinite overtime, not for league play. Maybe for the final, maybe for the winter final, we might do the infinite overtime as they do for majors. Probably not. They kind of reserve that for the majors and SI only. So I don't think we might be doing that, but I kind of love infinite overtime, but not here this time. We are seeing Sierra on the defense first. Obviously, that's a massive advantage, right? We saw the defense getting the best of both halves, right? It was a 4-2 split and then another 4-2 split flipped. We see Sierra go back to their favorite site, seemingly CCTV, bringing the same lineup, right? We see that utility, smoke and mute, some of the best utility kits with those mute jammers and those toxic babes. And then we also see Malusi with her, I honestly don't know the name of that device, but it's the most annoying thing in the entire world to play against because you just can't walk and then someone peeks you and you die. Obviously very frustrating to clear. You either have to punch it or you have to throw something explosive at it. You can't shoot it from a distance. It is bulletproof. And then, you have Jaeger and Wamai, right? They catch all throwables, all projectiles straight out of the air. Obviously, the Wamai gets everything. and Jaeger does not get Capital bolts, but we don't have a Capital anyway, so nothing to worry about there. And then on the attack, you know, the same kind of lineup we've been seeing. They bring that IQ, they bring the double hard reach, and then the Zofia and the Ashe. And here's an early kill from the IQ, catching the Wamaya. I think that's a top garage player, actually. They're clearing top garage.
Yep.
I think they just cleared top garage. That's massive. That's the first time we've seen someone take garage this entire map.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you want to hold to, because looking at that defensive side, they are holding way back on that site. So, I mean, this November side is going to take as much of that advantage on that site as they possibly can. As we see, Meps is still kind of creeping in bar area, maybe looking to get that pick on the roamer, and does through the wall. Absolutely incredible read there from Meps. I'm not exactly sure how he saw that, but...
Oh, no. I saw his head.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, it was there. There was only one place that you could have got that kill from, and it was that window right next to the billiards table. And so I'm pretty sure the Zofia kind of knew, and then he saw that pixel of the top of Jaeger's head, and he's like, and I was like, and then he shot him. And he died. So this is super awesome. We get to see a garage take here that they got that early kill. And this is probably one of those rotational calls, right? Now 3v3, we do get Timmy trading back out onto, I believe that was the Zofia. Yep. Looks like this is a garage CC. This is kind of like the old school kind of take, right? Clear garage, take top garage, open up the sight line right here with hard breach on CC wall, walk in from the garage rotation. And that being said, the Legion is playing super close. Not the Legion, that is the Malusi. Playing super close to the window. They need someone on that CC window. If someone was on that CC window, this person would be dead. You can't play there if there's someone on that balcony. Obviously, with a man disadvantage, you can't play there. This is going to be pretty easy for this guy, probably. Yep. Oh, actually doesn't get him. He's at one hit, though. This Ashe is trying to catch this Malusi on the pre-fire, but he does have that bomb denial. He is still trying to clear him just as much as he possibly can. He is now one hit. This ace might need to help. I don't know what the smoke is. He might try to run across. He is running across to the window. They're reading this. Our first Toxic Babe goes out. We're going to throw a few flashbangs. This Ashe is probably going to try to just run into sight here and make something happen. The Malusi will die to one bullet from either of these players. They get the top garage player, and then they get the CC balcony player as well. And Swifta with a swift double kill. Ends that round and wins the defense. The defense goes up on the advantage. Now we're going to flip sides as overtime always works. November is going to go on the defense. And I'm excited. Where do you think they're going to go? What site do you think is going to come out here?
I mean, on the defensive round, I would assume it's going to be CCTV, right? That's exactly what you're most likely going to be seeing on this map, especially if it's a map where, you need a win. Interesting thing about that, though, I mean, this is one of those maps where there's a whole lot of discrepancy between, what exactly is going to be the most viable for your team versus what's the meta, right? Like everything's all circumstantial versus how you guys can, how each team can play and what exactly each team can do. But I mean, the most interesting thing about all of this, I think, in my opinion, is that you're seeing as they do go CCTV. Who would have thought?
Wow. I think we've gone there the majority of the defensive rounds.
Yep. We definitely have, but I mean, this is going to be something very interesting, for both of these teams to play out here. Is we're going to see again almost the exact same push as what we saw last round, right?
Yep.
We're going to see basically the exact same thing play out just with switch roles. So it's going to be very interesting to see how exactly these two teams approach this matchup. The more interesting thing to me is that the highest defensive win rate of any map in the pro scene of any hold on this map in the pro scene is actually Church Arsenal down in basement, in which we have not seen anybody necessarily go to right off the bat.
Yeah, not as a primary choice.
Right. But in the pro scene across all rounds played so far this season, the basement does have the highest percentage win rate across all rounds played versus CCTV. Which is very interesting. But nonetheless, we are going to see these two teams come out with they're very similar play styles here. I would assume we are going to see that Ace come out again, as well as the Habana and the Zofia and the Ashe. In this defense side, we're still going to see Yoki on this on the smoke. We're going to see Okami on the Malusi and Meps again on that Jaeger. Most likely going to be seeing that Jaeger roam around. I would assume somewhere around bar area, trying to slow down some picks or slow down some pushes and get some picks. But nonetheless, so far it looks almost basically identical to what we saw last game. It is going to be on Sierra here to put the pressure on early to take down some early picks and some early trades to give themselves a number advantage and try to take this one right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see November again not reinforcing that cash wall. They decide to use those reinforcements elsewhere. Looks like we do have a player in Logi trying to hold the flank. Because I do know, I'm pretty sure the attackers do realize that there is a bandit on the roam in that bar general area. He was in bar a few seconds ago. I'm not quite sure where he is now. They are droning out. Oh, looks like he does get that down. And Sir Mepsalot stepping up. It's that duel we're talking about, right? Looks like it's now Burnt Turkey's turn to see if he can be like, hey, I'm the better fragger. I'm the MVP. We're going to see kind of who this is. I feel bad for whoever is deciding the MVP of this match because it's going to be tricky.
Yeah.
Or
going to be
Turkey? Tricky?
Burnt Turkey.
Oh, and there's the bandit. Oh, in a flick. Bandit. That is an insanely easy kill.
We were just talking about him. Burnt Turkey getting the massive kill there on Switch to level it up. Was at a serious disadvantage. Just got that flick on real quick, turn over to take him down with the headshot. I mean, that's a good night in the chat if I've ever seen it. Absolutely amazing play there from Burnt Turkey to take that advantage here. We are still tied even at 4-4 here on our man advantage. We are going to see November again holding backside as much as possible. We do see that one player is roaming around close to that window on that B site. Most likely going to be, looking to probably gain some advantage on some peaks here. And it looks like we got a player playing from below as well, maybe trying to distract or just make some noise to keep that defense occupied.
Yeah, that IQ, I mean, that LMG is an insane gun. The G8, I believe, or G80, I'm not quite sure. Oh, and we got some impact tricking going here. Oh, this one going to be a freezy, and it is an easy kill. Timmy stepping up with a huge headshot, and he gets it down, too. Oh, and what a peek. The Burnt Turkey almost had the guy in garage. He was laying prone in the rotation hole. What a shot from Rafgaf, the IQ. This is turning out to be a frag fest. There's some insane gun skills going on right now. They're trying to quick peek here. Oh, man, this is awesome. And then here we go. The attackers win and take the very first match of Winter Breach on stream, at least. I know there are a few matches going on right now and have gone on throughout the afternoon for some of our earlier risers. But Sierra takes the first stream match 8-6. Fantastic last round there. Some really great gunplay to cap off this fantastic match.
Yeah, no, super exciting. Very impressive to see exactly what both of these teams are capable of. Obviously, this scoreboard is not reflective of what actually happened in the previous thing before we had to rehost. We did see Burnt Turkey showing up huge. I believe had somewhere in the neighborhood of 15, 16 kills across both of those games. So excellent play there by Burnt Turkey and that Sierra squad. Obviously it's top frags are obviously super important in terms of kills on the scoreboard. But every single player on that team seems to have a very cohesive mindset when they're playing together, right? We know this is a fresh team. They haven't exactly played together before, but nonetheless, they did, show a great amount of cohesion and chemistry among themselves. And, the plays that they made were really impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really psyched that we were able to cast that first match and it be so competitive, right? Because, when you cast a blowout or even watch a blowout, it's not fun. It doesn't matter what it is, esports, traditional sports, chess, a card game. If it's a blowout, it's not fun. But it's awesome. Competitive match there. I'm happy that, one of my teams that I coach for, Sierra, did pull off that W. Super excited to be able to go into our Discord group chat and kind of rally behind those guys. I know they're going to be super stoked, especially coming back. They were down 5-2 at one point, and they ended up winning 4 rounds in a row, dropped one, made it tied, right? Had that 4-2 defensive split. And then, they kind of stepped up into that overtime, took it 2-0 real fast, 8-6, and that's that. But we are going to go to a quick break to bring in our analysts. We are going to be joined by Pathfinder and Gizmo. Gizmo is the lead admin for Winter Breach and also the expert in Siege. So he's going to give you some light analysis on what just happened. There's a lot to go through, but he's going to take a few minutes of his time and kind of go through why Sierra ended up winning, what they had to change to overcome that 2-5 deficit. I'm also going to hear Pathfinder's input as well. So we are going to be going to a quick break. We will be back for match 2. So we're going to go to analysis and then have a quick break after that, get that second match set up. And then we will have hopefully another competitive match 2 and bring some more great production for y'all.
Let's do it.
Until then.
Welcome back to Stay Plugged In Winter Breach. I am one of your hosts, CLT Pathfinder. With me, Chase the Gizmo. How we doing this evening, man?
We're doing good. That was an amazing match to watch.
It was. It was a great match to start off the night. I felt like I was with my team in the chat. We were going nuts. We were trying to figure out what we need to do. We were going over strats. We were keeping calm. We were keeping cool, but we weren't able to win, and I was very sad about that.
I mean, you got to be proud about going to overtime, though.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I think for one of the message that I had for the guys was, hey, it's the first time you've ever played together, right? Like those critical situations where maybe you made those one or two little hiccups. I think you refine those through those weeks, and the teams get better as the guys hadn't even talked to each other before night,
exactly.
Right? So they jumped in and they were just trying to figure out those things. And one of the things that I kind of portrayed to them was like, hey, be patient with each other. It's okay. You've never played. You don't even know each other's name really. You know, like you don't know what roles you play. You don't know where you are on the map. So just being patient with each other. But we're able to pull the win. But it's still a great match to watch for night one in the beginning of what we were doing.
Yeah, for sure. And you guys even had a sub.
We did. That's
yeah,
right.
You had a sub on the roster. So talk about not knowing each other.
That's right. He fit right in there for sure. But our MVP of the match as we move towards it.
Yeah, that'll be Burnt Turkey.
Burnt Turkey. Throw it up, that production. The Burnt Turkey coming in. He's a support player. Look at that. Who would have thought? Not me.
Those plays on smoke were nuts downstairs.
Yeah.
He made some great 1v2 clutches. He made some great double kills. He was just all over the map.
I love it. The Burnt Turkey showing us up. Shout out to you, big man. Burnt Turkey. Thanks for showing up at tonight's match, and you are the MVP. Congratulations.
Yeah, and so we're going to head straight into some analysis from that match. It started off really interesting. So they start off 0-1, and then the attack rounds take 2 quick. And then they came back on one half, and it was 2-4, which is pretty much expected, especially with those bans. And, I mean, they just battled back. November, they were putting up a great fight on attack, and they brought it to overtime, and which was just amazing. There was a bunch of split takes on the upper floor, and I think where one of the faults in round 13 was where they decided to take Garage after they getting a quick 2 picks, and taking Garage just wasn't the move. If they had taken split, I think they would have taken the round.
Yeah.
And that would have an attack round in overtime. I mean, you showed how important it was in round 14 when Sierra took the W on the attack.
Sure.
And I mean, I think that if they would have kept with that split push, it hadn't been super successful, but it did win 1 round. I don't think Garage is the push anymore, especially with how they were holding it with the Wamai up in Raptors. You just can't get past that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and then, I mean, the attacks with those bans, with Maverick and Thatcher gone, it is just so hard to push into Clubhouse. It is a map where you have to have 2 hard reachers, and you have to be able to get in through the walls and the hatches. So with the impact tricking going on downstairs, some of the impact tricking was a little finicky, a little missed, but impact tricking that kitchen hatch and holding in through dirt when they can't come in is just amazing.
Yeah. Honestly, the back and forth matches, and you can tell even as you're kind of talking about it, there's just little things. Hey, let's push Garage, or maybe we should push something else, or what, what's the play here? I think that's something that we're going to focus on in our teams. And as we come together, and my team is already after that match, hey, let's talk strategy. How can we have done that better? What should we look at? What's our strong maps? What should we do differently next time? So I think some of those things are going to come out as we get into these play, and we're going to see a little bit more of those rotations, a little bit more of moving around the map and trying different stuff out that works for different teams.
Especially, yeah. And there was already some great adaptations in the match already. I mean, you saw them go down real quick on defense first. Sierra went down on the first round of CCTV, and they were like, let's run it back. Run it back, Turbo, man. Let's go.
Let's get it.
And they came back, and they won it. They got a good roam, good flank, came in by Fino on the Jaeger, and he just took out 2 picks, and then he wasted time in the bathroom. And so, like, they adapted. They came into it. And then, Fino with those clutches, man. The one on Jim and Master, whew, that was a win. That was a round.
Awesome. Well, 2 great squads going against each other. We love it. That's our first match tonight. That's the analysis. That's the gizmo coming at it. Do you have any more for us, Mr. Man of the Wizard of the Mind of the R6?
Not too much. It was just some really good team play, actually. I was expecting more solo, but there were some great plays off of each other. There were some great crosses, like when Fino went up oil pit 1 round, and then they rotated somebody into blue to take his position from Jaeger, and that is just pivotal. The casters, they even pointed on it. There was great kills coming in from blue through the soft wall, and I don't think the attack had any clue, because when the Jaeger left, they were like, oh, blue clear, let's push. And the double kill came straight out from blue.
Yeah.
Just beautiful to watch.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Cool. Well, that's match 1. It was a good one. We loved it a lot. We have one more match for you guys tonight, another best of 9 with 2 squads that are coming into this this Stay Plugged In, this Winter Breach college recruiting program that we have. And we're really, really excited about this program. We think it's going to be really cool. But transitioning a little bit, we have a spotlight, a Gamer of the Week, right? We do. And it is the only Nepix. Nepix has come into the league as we're doing all the registration, getting everybody inside of our league. There's obviously no stats for Nepix Net because he hasn't even played yet. He's still got to play. But from a personality, from somebody that's willing to help out, very engaged in the Discord, and really willing to help out other people and trying to figure out how do you get signed up? What kind of things do we do? How do we manage our team? How do we manage our players? And a lot of times, what we've seen from players is if they're willing to go the extra mile outside the game, they're much better inside the game as teammates, as leaders, as players, stuff like that.
Sure.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, Nepix stepped up really good. He was one of the most excited people about the program. He was all for it. He was bought in from the beginning. And he stepped up, took the captain role from his team. He started scheduling out. He had a couple of some issues with scheduling. He worked with his team really hard. And, that's just what we want to see from the players. It's everything outside the game that is more important than inside the game to these recruiters.
Totally.
So it was a great job by Nepix, and we're really, really happy to have players like him in the league.
Awesome. Cool. So that's Nepix. That was game 1. With you coming up next, going to be game 2 after this short intermission. Thanks so much for joining us this evening. We'll see you in the next match.
Hello and welcome back to Winter Breach. We are now on our stream match number 2. Sorry for the little bit of a delay. We did have to find a sub for one of the players. He unfortunately had a last minute thing pop up that he had to attend to. So we were trying to find a sub, and we did. We had a great helper in our league that was like, hey, I'm free right now. I'll hop in and sub. And we absolutely love that, right? We love to see that from our league admin perspective because that shows engagement, that shows community engagement, that shows teamwork, that shows leadership upon themselves, the individual, for stepping up and, kind of stepping to the plate to help others around him. Because at the end of the day, no one has to do that, but he decided to. So love to see that. We always try to highlight that as much as we can because we love to see those positive aspects in our community, especially as it continues to grow with Siege being brand new. But enough about what just happened. Let's talk about what's going to happen. Match number 2, Team Foxtrot versus Team Echo. Take me through it.
Yeah, no, I mean, this Foxtrot team versus Team Echo, you're exactly right. I actually coach Team Echo, but first we will cover Team Foxtrot, which of course is going to have one senior whose name is actually Echo, funny enough. But that's going to be some Arcade Alex. That's going to be Trongo. That's going to be Blicky. That's going to be, I want to say, Wary. But nonetheless, this is going to be an incredibly talented team. Golds and plats across the board. So this is our Div 3 or Division 3, excuse me. Again, these players are looking for their shot at that championship title as well. But they are going to be looking to take this series away from Team Echo.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be a great team right there. And now onto your team, Team Echo.
That's right.
Probably could have flipped that, but here we are.
Here we are.
I'm describing your team. We don't have any seniors on Team Echo, so a bunch of underclassmen, which is awesome, right? I think there's actually 3 freshmen, which is kind of crazy, but I love to see that, right? That shows that they have a ton of time to develop. Right.
Sure.
So they have, 3 years and some change before they get into that recruiting process as a senior. And then, by then the esports world is going to change again, right? It changes every 3 months right now. By the time they're seniors, I'm sure even more colleges will have it. But to go ahead and go through that roster real fast, we have the God Osiris, Pig Bean, Unit, Salsa, and Rookie.
Pig Bean will actually be replaced by Fate for this match.
There we go.
Fate is stepping in as the sub. Pig Bean is having internet problems. I spoke to the team, and they are winning this one for Pig Bean. So Team Echo is coming out to try and win this one for their boy. But Fate will be stepping in to sub for Team Echo in this one.
Awesome. And once again, highlighting Fate there for just stepping up and helping out where you can in the community. Absolutely love to see it. But, looks like this team is full of a good mix as well. Team Echo looks like it's built balanced, has a couple supports, a couple flexes, and a couple entry fraggers, some more aggressive players. Unfortunately, we saw the, more aggressive team last match, Team Sierra, end up taking the dub from what they say their mains are. So we'll see if this kind of plays out to be the same this time.
And we are going to see Clubhouse again. Congratulations, all you viewers. You will see it twice in one night.
You guys couldn't pick another map, please.
Nobody likes anything else. But Clubhouse is what we will be seeing tonight. Our Team Echo is going to be starting out on offense with Foxtrot starting out on defense. We are going to be seeing Echo looking to take a little bit of a round advantage here early on in this one. I would assume they're probably going to be looking for a 3-3 split, maybe a 2-4. something along those lines. I would imagine they don't want to get into that 1-5 area, but obviously Foxtrot on the other side of things is going to be looking to push that as far as they possibly can. But both of these teams on paper are relatively evenly matched. There's not a whole lot of discrepancy in terms of rank between these two teams on paper. So there is going to be, we should be seeing a pretty evenly sided match here from both teams.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super excited to see kind of how this plays out. We're going to see, hope to get some different bans this time, right? Clubhouse is a very flexible map. That's why it's played a lot in the NA region is you can kind of, attack or defend it in a lot of different ways, right? There's no set best strat, right? Obviously right now with kind of the Wamai Jaeger meta, it's very hard to attack the garage, but maybe we see a Jaeger and or a Wamai ban, right? You take Wamai or Jaeger off the board, all of a sudden it's very easy to attack that side of the map, right? And then instead of seeing, I think out of the 6 or 7 CCTV attacks that all went through cache except one, we might see a couple, different attacks. So,
and we didn't see a whole lot of Wamai in the first series tonight on Clubhouse, but we did see Jaeger every single round. So you're definitely right. We are going to see a Jaeger. Traditionally, both Jaegers on those two teams earlier tonight were pretty much roaming. They spent a lot of time in bar. They spent a lot of time in garage, of course, provided that the CCTV hold wasn't happening. But we are going to see, like you said, hopefully a couple different scenarios play out here for both of these teams as those bans will come out, and that'll really be the telling part about what exactly we're going to see. We saw some Thermite, we saw some Hibana, we saw some Ace, a lot of hard breach coming out for both of the teams in the previous series on Clubhouse. I would imagine that both teams are going to be looking to keep as many of those hard breaches as they possibly can. I would imagine personally that we're probably definitely going to see the Thatcher ban, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a given.
It's just a default on Clubhouse.
It is. But aside from that, I think it's going to be very interesting. I think there's a lot up in the air in what these two teams can do to start off this game hot. And the operator picks are obviously going to be one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Bans play such a massive role on the rest of the game. And we are just waiting for one last player on the other team. He's having a little bit of technical issues, so hopefully he can resolve those quite quickly. But in the meantime, we're still here. We're going to go through this match, hopefully a little more. Looking at, just what we tend to ask for, right? We always ask the players, what are your top player or top played operators both on the attacking defending side. Kind of went through Team Echo already, seeing it's pretty well balanced. I see there's a Thermite Maestro main, which obviously just screams support. We have I think we have a Vigil Thatcher, which is kind of flex right there, and we have a Zofia Jaeger and a Zofia Echo, and Zofia can, as we know, is pretty flex. So obviously the Zofia Jaeger person, which is unit, is going to be obviously more aggressive. Playing that Jaeger usually leads to that more aggressive role. And then the Echo side of it, for rookie, he is more than likely to be a more passive player, right? Echo's a very passive player. You kind of throw those little frisbees out, as I like to call them, and you drive them around and just stun people. And when you're echoed, it's one of the most annoying things in the world. I think
Echo is banned right now.
Oh, true. He is in competitive quarantine. Yeah. He is in competitive quarantine. I completely forgot about that. He's just such a mainstay that that was probably why we never saw him last map.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right. And, that's one of those things, too, that one thing we didn't see a whole lot of last round was the use of that smoke, right? We saw that, Burnt Turkey was using that smoke play a lot, made some pretty incredible plays. But across the board, nobody else really used the smoke or the Legion for a whole lot of intel or area denial, especially on the back red stairs, right? Yeah. Whenever we were playing that upper site. So there's going to be a whole lot more that these two teams are probably going to be looking to do with that. I would imagine that we're probably going to see, I would imagine a little the same amount of hard breach as what we saw before. I think that's pretty much going to be the staple. Ace was probably the most impactful player from both teams in the last series. I would imagine that we're going to see somewhat of a similar setup from both sides, but whether or not that Thermite gets banned, whether or not, we see a lot of Hibana or Ace come out are going to be pretty big deciding factors for both of these teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously hard breach in general, those 4 operators play such a massive role on kind of how you can shape site. So we have gotten confirmation that it's going to be a few more minutes before we are unfortunately able to get into this map. Those technical problems ended up being a little more than just a little technical problem. So we are going to go to a quick break. We will be right back shortly with match number 2 as soon as that one player fixes his technical issues. Until then, stick around. We will be back shortly. hello, and welcome back. We finally have match number 2 up. We apologize about a little bit of the wait time. Obviously, technical issues on one of the players' side, and we had to find a sub. So we have everyone here. We have everyone in the lobby, and we are getting this match going just as soon as we can. The Mr. Producer guy is hitting that start button as we speak. But here we go. Team Echo versus Team Foxtrot. Obviously, we've been through the analysis, and we are ready to go. I'm super excited. So, Gray, go ahead. Give me, who do you think is going to be banned?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we know right off the bat that we are going to see a Thatcher ban, right?
Yeah, it has to be banned.
Yeah, it's absolutely going to be banned. I also wouldn't be surprised if we do see maybe a hard breach ban as well. You know, a thermite would not be terribly surprising. You know, angle there closer to sight. But nonetheless, this is going to be a different setup here that we are seeing from this Echo squad, and hopefully it pays off for them as they look to battle back from an early round deficit.
Yeah, so they're taking 3 hard breach, which is, kind of unconventional. Triple hard breach. Basement. That first round was like that attacking execute was not good. And I was like, well, we might be in it for a little bit of a longer haul and, maybe one team's kind of one-sided, but they turned it around. They're like, hey, we can't make these mistakes again. We need to change these mistakes, fix these mistakes, correct them, and get back on. And they flipped it. They had a flawless round. Now it's 1-1. It looks like we're going to basement again, and we're bringing almost the same lineup. So that Maestro is turning into a mute unless we have a 6th pick somewhere. And on the attacking side, they're actually only now bringing 1 hard breach, which is odd. And then the mute goes to Maestro. So probably the exact same strat. That Vigil and Jaeger, I think, just needs to be a little more coordinated on their dual roam on that 2nd floor. They wasted a lot of time, but then on their rotation back or even getting into sight a little early, nothing really came out of it, right? They wasted time, but, at the end of the day, they should have stayed and kept contesting, I feel like. But, like I said, nothing really came out of it. Maybe this time they can be a little more effective in that roam and then be able to hopefully get at least 1 kill or waste some more time. Because even though they wasted 2 minutes, a minute's still a long time. Obviously, the attackers took advantage of their man advantage and, made swift work of that flawless round. But here we go. It looks like the same strat again. Looks like they're going to be roaming that Jaeger and Vigil. An interesting thing is, why go from 3 hard breach, Habana, Thermite, and Maverick, no ace, even though I think ace should be the mainstay in most lineups. And now they replace the Habana and Thermite with a Gridlock and a... Is it the Ash was? No, there was no Ash last time. There was a Jackal, though. Yep. Yeah, there was a Jackal. So the Habana and Ash. And Gridlock, as we all know, throws those little spiky traps, like I call them. They look like spiky spider webs. So you throw that little grenade, and then it expands and puts all these little traps that when defenders walk over them, it makes a super loud noise cue. And it also does some slight damage of a couple damage points as you continue to walk over them. And it covers a good fair area. Like if you threw one in the middle of the bar, it'd cover most of the bar area, to say the least. So really, really good. Kind of a different Nomad. It's really good to cover your flanks. And as we know in Clubhouse, flanking is very important. But here we go. Ash gets an early kill and then trade it back so that Ash gets the Vigil. And then it looks like the Jaeger gets the Gridlock. And then now here goes Jaeger down from the billiards window from that Ash. So the Ash on an early double kill with 2 minutes left. Looks like there's a lot more map control this time. The Jackal is in top blue. And it looks like we're still trying to play Memorial on the defensive side. Maestro is pre-firing some things. Not sure why they're taking that angle there. Looks like it's going to be the same blue attack with maybe a kitchen drop as well. But it looks like that's what they're positioning for. Anything of note that you're seeing right now?
Yeah, no, I mean, super early on, we're seeing that obviously that double kill comes out from this offensive side. They've been super patient so far, and it's playing out for them. We're seeing this, like you said, with the dual roamers and the Vigil and the Jaeger get taken down super early, but we're also seeing that they're also, from an entirely defensive perspective, are over-rotating just a little bit, pushing those angles a little bit farther than they necessarily need to, which is exactly what we saw there in the kills on Echo and Arcade Alex here. But Echo is making some moves. They are playing perfectly patient. They do get taken down there by Blicky as Mexican Salsa falls, and that will make it this back to a 4-3 fight yet again. Fate looking for that long angle down that hallway there. Rookie 10 trying to get that, sees him behind sight on that table next to Bomb. Not quite able to get the shot he was necessarily looking for. And does fall again to the offense. I'm not quite sure.
That Legion was asleep.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure where the reaction time was there on that, but nonetheless,
he didn't react.
Yeah, Fate is going to take that, and we are back to a 3-1 fight here as the plant does go down for Echo, and Trongo's going to have to battle back all by himself here on this one.
Yeah, he's in a very difficult position right here. I mean, this is almost unwinnable. Oh, well, this is the Aldo. We talked about this last match of, hey, this can get a triple kill without ever reloading. You can just keep holding left click and mow people down. So we'll see if you can do anything here, but they have a great crossfire, right? This guy's in the bottom of main stairs, and the Ash is on that A bomb on Arsenal, in Arsenal, and they're both looking at that diffuser. So they're holding that cross. They know either that Maestro has to go through the middle of church or out through Memorial, and, this is pretty quick work. Holding a little pixel angle here, which is awesome. Little pre-fire because he knows that Maestro is pre-firing to cross, and an easy headshot and go from there. Looks like we have some good banter here in the chat. Again, people calling other people nutty, which is awesome. It is a compliment. If you don't know, nutty means you're really good. And some GRs, good rounds. Love to see it. Love to see it. Keep it up, gentlemen, as we continue to watch this.
This is two really big offensive wins right here early, super early in this match. That's the exact momentum you want going into the rest of this first half. Obviously, especially with those first two sites being CCTV and basement, you would think that the defense would take those early on in this matchup, again, being just defensive heavy on those sites. But nonetheless, the attacking side does rally back and get 2-1 advantage over Foxtrot as we speak. So Echo is obviously going to be, of course, riding that momentum. We do see that, this team is going to be looking to hold Garage here as well, as Echo is going to be reinforcing some things down there. But this is going to be another interesting push, as again, we do see for the offense that we do see the Ash again, we see the Jackal, we see the Zofia. Not a whole lot of hard breach here, right? We're not seeing a whole lot of ability to be able to put a lot of pressure on these hard walls and angles to be able to make some things happen. We do see the Jaeger is still there, as well as a Castle. Castle is going to be very important here, especially since this offensive side is limited in their hard breach operators at the moment. So this will be interesting to see how this plays out. Of course, this offensive side is riding some momentum of their previous 2 wins, so they do have some things moving in their direction, but nonetheless, it does seem that the defensive setup does have them back on their heels a little bit. It's going to be interesting to see how they play against this.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we are back on that single hard breach, which worked out well for them last time. And Echo's on this win streak, as you said. Oh, this might be an easy kill. This could be, oh, nope, he decides to drone, just punch out the window and then drone. He's now realizing that drone is dead and that there is more than likely someone in strip club, which, you know, I've never been a fan of the strip club roam. Some teams employ it. I think it's pretty pointless, just because, like, there is one door out of strip club to the rest of the map, and it is right next to an exterior door that you can cover pretty easily. Also, you know, still not quite sure why we're doing this complete Maverick trick. Here we go. This is how we should do this. There we go. Much better as compared to that CCTV. This wall is now open at 2 minutes and 7 seconds left in the round, which yields so much more potential to be able to, you know, execute the rest of the attack. But now that they only have one hard breacher, they can't get those really important cross sight lines from opening that cache wall, right? You have to go over there and Maverick trick that, and that's a much trickier wall to Maverick trick just because of where it is with the relation to everything else. There's a hatch right next to you that can peek at from below. You're going to get caught by that pest if you keep going. And there it goes. Mozzie got a free drone. So that, for anybody that doesn't know, if we have any parents in the chat, hello, mom and dad, but those pests, they sit commonly in doorways. They're launched by Mozzie, and they catch drones, right? So they take an attacker drone and turn it into a defender drone. And here we go. That Jaeger, yeah, see, like, you get droned out there, and it's a pretty easy kill. So that Jaeger goes down, and I mean, he does waste a fair amount of time, about 1.5 minutes of the round. So we'll see how this continues to turn out. But back to that pest, you know, that big red blinking, or not blinking, that solid red pest symbol says, like, hey, you're close to a pest. If you keep driving closer, I'm going to catch you. And that player was like, yeah, I want to be caught. So that pest got a free drone. He probably shot it right after anyway, so maybe you can obviously use a drone to clear those pests and then send another drone in. Each attacker has 2 drones. So you can definitely do that. Looks like this player is able to cross, and he gets killed by the Ash trying to, you know, once you start pre-firing that, you have to come off the angle. He doesn't. And
a couple big early kills here coming out from the offense as they do get traded out. Still a 3-2 fight. They do have the man up. They have been patient so far, but the time is ticking. They have 25 seconds left here to make a play. As we look at the top of red stairs, doesn't quite get the angle here. It is going to be back down to a 2-2 fight. Ooh. We see the 1-1 come out as the trades happen, and the defenders will take this one as Echo gets the kill there on God Osiris to put Foxtrot up back into the tying position at 2-2. You know, the last 25 seconds there were super exciting. Lots of trades coming out, but we do see the advantage in the positioning here. Like you were talking about earlier, with the lack of hard breach, it makes it very hard to make that cross push on top of Garage, right?
It becomes very singular.
Right. Exactly. So we saw Echo holding that top position, protected by that castled window as well, just held that angle steady, knew the offense was going to have to push into there at some point, and eventually it pays off. So patience does go in favor of the defense here, and it is tied up at 2-2.
Yeah, absolutely. And just on a more lighthearted note, there's too many Echoes right now in this game. Yes. We have a player Echo not on Team Echo. Thank God Echo is competitively quarantined right now, or else we would be incredibly confused.
Agreed.
Especially if Echo didn't play Echo on Team Echo. That's too much. This is Inception now. Okay, back to the game. We're seeing very similar lineups again. We are bringing 2 hard breachers. So there is now actually we're bringing 3 again. So we went from 3 to 1, or from 3. I think we went from 2 to 3 to 1 to 1. Now we're back to 3. So they're like, hey, we want some more hard breach. And now they're bringing
honestly is the right move.
Yes. You know, maybe we can find that middle ground at that sweet number 2. We might get there one day, but for now, you know, I think having 3 is much better than having 1 on Clubhouse.
Yeah, they did win their first couple rounds there with a couple hard breaches, and then moved back down to 1 and saw very quickly how advantageous it was for the defense to be able to basically fortify the entire point on those upper positions here. Obviously, we are going to be in the basement now, so this is going to be a little bit more verticality play. Those hard breachers are going to be far more important for reaching, of course, these cross-angle walls, but also those soft walls above as well. And that is where most likely we will see that Zofia, that Thermite come out, potentially even that Ash as well, make a big difference there. So this offense is going to have a little bit of an advantage here. We do see the Vigil and the Jaeger coming back out as well. So we are going to see some attempted, roaming by both of these players, trying to get some picks and prevent some vertical play here from that first floor. But as we've seen before in the last couple rounds, it hasn't exactly worked out for this Foxtrot side, as Jaeger gets taken down pretty quickly. But it is Echo who is top fragging right now, so we may see some different movements here.
Yeah, absolutely. Echo, if I remember correctly, is 9-2. Obviously, he had that first round ace that put him at 5-0, and then those last 3 rounds, he went 4-2. He's having a fantastic game right now, and we'll see. I also like this roam a little bit more. The Vigil and the Jaeger are way more connected, right? Before they were playing on 2 corners of the map rather than playing together, right? Covering each other's crosses, covering each other's flanks, and here we go. And a great peek from Echo, getting one of the hard breachers, the Maverick Anatomy, and now here we go. The defenders have a man advantage. There are 2 minutes left in the round. They are successfully wasting time, and they picked up that kill. So here we go. Just, playing more connected, playing, I guess, with a little, probably better comms in general, yielded them that kill. And here we, all in all, a much more successful roam. We still have that Vigil roaming in bar right now, using his cloaking device, which makes him not invisible to drones. Well, invisible from a sight perspective, but you get those white lines on your screen. Maybe we'll see them one day, but if we go to Vigil's perspective when it's on, that yields some white lines in the bottom of the screen that indicates that it is on. Right now, it is obviously off. He's holding a great position here. Just at the billiards table, he can see all the way across towards stock and lounge where there are a few attackers, and now he's on the flank. You can see that his cloak is on right now, so he's invisible to drones. The Hibana is in stock. You can see her blue outlined through the walls. And this is going to be very interesting. I think they're actually going to miss drone this. That drone went towards blue the opposite way of where Vigil is right now. Oh, no, they definitely know he's close. Oh, turn left. Turn left. What are you doing?
What is happening?
You're right next to the Hibana.
Oh, my goodness.
They're in the same room.
Oh, my goodness. Blicky.
They're in the same room.
Oh, my goodness.
Jesus.
That is a little hard to watch there. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
That's not what you want to see there from that defense side. A little bit of obliviousness coming out there. Didn't check all those angles. Knew the defender or the offense was close because of that drone, but still couldn't capitalize on that angle in that corner. But we are going to see the hatches open now, so we are going to see some ground play as the trades do come out. Echo is going to get a triple kill here in this round, taking down Fate and Rookie 10, as Trango is going to take down God Osiris, and they have a man up, and it is a 2v1 fight here with a man down, and the defenders will take that one as Echo picks up 4 kills in that round, picking up that last one on Mexican Salsa with a nice quick peek there over the top of sight. And I mean, this Foxtrot side is going to take a 3-2 lead here on defense.
Yeah, Echo, the player, has 13 kills.
Jeez, already
in 5 rounds. And I just want to leave this up here, Mr. Suave, the producer. So the team Echo has 12. They have 17 kills. So Echo only has 4 less kills than the opposing team right now after 5 rounds. That's incredible. Keep up the great work, Echo. You are definitely carrying your team, but not even really carrying. His team is enabling him, right? Yeah, I think they're making good calls. They have the intel. They're, forcing these attackers into very distinct pipeline kind of angles. And now the Jaeger's like, hey, I have the 416C, a really great gun. Used to be the best gun in defense. I think they're always better now. And they're like, hey, I'm just going to kill you now because I can. And my teammates are giving me great calls, and I'm just feeling myself right now. So great to see. They have one CCTV and then the basement. So those 2 sites are locked. We are going to bedroom and gym. This is usually the 3rd site. Most often, you do see some pro teams out there that like this or prefer this site to CCTV or basement, but typically this is your 3rd choice. Still a strong site. Clubhouse, as we say, is very flexible. You can kind of choose how you want to play this map, both from the attacking and the defending side. And once again, we see some similar lineups. Actually, no, the attacks flipped again. We're back to 1 hard breach.
Yeah, it clearly didn't work out for him the last time. Then again, that Maestro did get picked super early. There was a lot of hard peeking going on by this Foxtrot side out of those early angles. So was able to get a couple quick peeks in there that took that offense maybe by a little bit of surprise, slowed them down a good bit, which as we've seen, this Foxtrot side, the more patient they can be, the better they play there. Maybe not quite the angle you want to hold there on the side of that. There's Rookie 10's pushing up as the Zofia, but nonetheless here we are going to see some hard breach again going on this wall directly next to site.
Yeah, so as I said, I just want to cover this again. The Zofia made a pretty big mistake there, right? So, the Ash still has 2, well, probably only 1 breaching round left, but she missed her explosive pellet on a castle window. So a castle window can only be destroyed by explosives, and you can, change out the default soft barricade, which can be punched or shot open, to the castle one if you are bringing castle. He has 3 of them. And so from a distance, the Zofia went to destroy it, but she missed. And, she lost half of her utility on an explosive sense from a ranged explosive sense. She has 2 impact grenades. You can also bring breach charges if you want. But that's a pretty big thing. Looking at this, you got to get rid of those Malusis. You got to get rid of 3 Malusis, or 2, I believe. I think it's 2. And then the 3 castles. So that's 5. And then range explosives on the attack is 4, right? 2 Zofias and 2 Ash breach charges. So, they kind of lost some utility there. Maybe the Sledge can come back with some of his nades. As we see the first kill in the first trade here, we're going to a 4v4 as Sledge gets picked from the flank, and I think Bandit got killed on site. I'm not quite sure. I missed that. We are going to use a nade to kill one of the Malusis here. Oh, it gets ADS. How do you not drone and clear that? Here we go. Castle with another big kill. Castle, as we know, has the UMP, the worst gun in the entire game.
Yep.
And he just killed the Ash, which R4C, one of the best guns in the game. So definitely a misplay by the Ash.
That's a big pick there by Fate, taking down that Echo here. This Foxtrot side has been incredibly patient on defense, and it has worked out for them simply because the more that they can keep Echo and the rest of their team alive, the more that they can frag out. Yep. But now that Echo is down on that, we still see a 3v3 here, as the offense does have the advantage and the plant down in terms of health and the position advantage. Now, Rookie 10 does take down YSV, and yep, that is exactly going to be an attacker's win here, as Echo is going to tie this up at 3-3, taking advantage of that big pick on Echo. You can see how quickly they acted once he was down.
Yeah, absolutely. They kind of just use that as a cue, almost like, hey, the top frag's gone. The guy that's, destroying everybody is dead. Let's go just take sight. And that's exactly what they did. And like we said before, a 3-3 split is an attacker win, like completely and through. The expected split on Clubhouse is a 4-2, right? If you do worse than that as the defense, 4-2 as the defending team winning that split. If you do worse than that, 3-3 or anything worse, is obviously gets really bad really fast. The attackers won that split.
Yep.
So we'll see now that the attackers, right, are going to the defense, obviously after 6 rounds we flop sides, if they can take advantage of that, right? And we see kind of a completely different lineup here, kind of on both sides, right? We see the ace come out on the attackers now. Super, great operator, a lot of great hard breach utility. And then on the defense, we see a Doc and a Valkyrie come out, right? Jaeger, Bandit, and Smoke all, mainstays in that lineup for the last 6 rounds. I think the Bandit was a little bit here and there, but the Jaeger and Smoke was picked, I think, every single time. Definitely the Jaeger because, Echo is Echo. But now we have a Doc, which is great for the top garage. He can kind of continuously peek from the top garage and heal himself. As he takes body shots. Obviously, a headshot still kills him in 1 shot. And then now we have Valkyrie, a big intel operator. I'm not sure of that particular camera.
Maybe the opposite angle would have been a little bit better. Yeah. Opposite corner.
Yeah, you can only see them if they're only about halfway up the stairs from that camera placement, which, maybe that's all they need to know, right? If that's all they need to know, that's all they're going to use it for. Here we go. That's a more common spot. There's a lot of Valk angles that you just kind of throw the top garage. No, that's common.
Okay.
That's very common, right? So there's a default camera in there, but that's instantly shot, right? It's in the corner. It's very visible. So, yeah, we're good. We're good, Mr. Box Turtle.
Okay, I was just,
He's making some gestures next to me.
Caught me off guard.
What? Why do you put it there?
It caught me off guard. Haven't seen it before. But we do see, of course, that Jaeger is becoming a mainstay. We do see Fate and Smoke looking for some of that area denial. Echo is going to be picking up the Zofia here with Blicky is going to be on that Ace. I do think Ace is going to be probably the most impactful operator that you can pick at this very moment.
That was kind of crazy. I don't mean to cut you off.
No, do your thing.
That you don't use breaching rounds to... It didn't destroy it either. So, okay, this is a really good example of why you don't do that. So, obviously, sometimes explosives in any game just don't work because this is, a game. Sometimes it just doesn't work. Okay. All sorts of things are happening. I don't know why they're happening. So, back to the Ash. She used her breaching charge on a wooden barricade that you can punch out. You can also shoot out as well. So, it is very easy to destroy those barricades. You should not use an explosive range device that is very valuable to the rest of the attack on that, right? You can use it on deployable shields and actual, angle deeper in sight. That's why it's ranged to open up a soft wall, to open up an angle. You can use it vertically from, especially from below to flush out an anchor on site. And then next, we look at what the Maverick was doing, he finally just got the wall open. Oh, now they're using ace charges. Yeah, I don't know what's happening right now. This is typically not what you see on an attack. The Maverick basically Mavericked enough to take the bandits off the wall, I believe. And then now they're acing the wall, and they didn't get the wall open up enough, I believe, to actually go through the wall. Looks like it's just something. I just heard another thing come off, so I'm sure it's fine. But you know, they could have Mav-tricked that better. They could have used their breach charges abilities better, and now they're actually still winning. I don't know what's happening.
No, big slays are coming out right now. We do see Arcade Alex waste all 3 of his flashes there, knowing that they were going to get eaten by that there on the stairs. But nonetheless, does waste those flash grenades here. You know, all this being said about the offense here, the Foxtrot is up 5-2 on this attacking round, right? And make that 5-1. It is now a 1v5 for Echo here. Or excuse me, Echo does fall here to Mexican Salsa on the Valk, trying to get a couple picks, but does eventually fall to Arcade Alex. And the attackers win round 7 here to go up 4-3. I'm genuinely curious as to what happened that round.
Honestly, I'm not really sure. So we did just get word from our analyst, right? The Siege expert in the office, Chase, a.k.a. Gizmo. You saw him on the analyst desk post-match 1. He said the Ash charge went through a bullet hole in that barricade. So what happens when you shoot anything that's soft in Siege, it actually leaves a little tiny hole the size of a bullet. In an Ash charge, the breaching charge can go through that bullet if it's perfectly placed. When I say perfect, the breaching charge is the exact same size of the bullet in the game. So you have to actually do it perfectly, and she did it by quick peeking to open the barricade.
That's awesome.
The decision to launch that in the beginning was probably not the best. Maybe it's some crazy strategists don't know about. Maybe I'm not good enough at the game to understand. But the fact that it went through a bullet hole, like, you could never do that again if you tried.
That was impressive and not impressive at the same time.
Yeah, that was impressively unimpressive, impossible. Perfect? Impossibly perfect?
Needless to say, there are some very interesting strats coming out here for both of these sides that we were definitely not seeing here in the first matchup of the evening. Nevertheless, it is still exciting. There's plenty of still slays coming out. Echo, of course, is making himself known. Mexican Salsa and Rookie 10, of course, getting a couple picks for themselves as well. We are looking at a 4-3 lead here for Foxtrot, still on the offensive side. They did, of course, win the defense, so they are going to be looking to win the offense here and potentially keep this away from an overtime. Only 3 round wins away from taking this one home. But Echo, of course, is still a very, very good team that has been very concise and cohesive so far in this matchup. So this is going to be interesting to see how this plays out. We do see the Ace come back out, as well as the Ash and the Zofia for Echo. We do see the Jaeger and the Smoke and the Valk. The Malusi all seems to be pretty mainstays for this map so far for all 4 teams that we've seen tonight. But nevertheless, that Jaeger is going to be holding red stairs, and so far this looks pretty typical from a defensive hold.
Yeah, this is pretty straightforward. You know, we have that player in the top garage. I think it's the Malusi right now. You know, really common. The Malusi can put down her 3 devices that I still don't know the name of off the top of my head. I'm sorry. They slow you down and they make the womp womp noise. But put those down, and you can just use your gun. You can just start shooting at people, and you don't have to ever worry about anything, right? Most gadgets in this game have some level of interaction, right? You either have to activate them or place them or throw them. But Malusi is kind of like Jaeger. You just place it and it does its thing by itself, which is awesome. That's kind of brings a power level to those operators that most others don't have. But we are seeing the same kind of clear. So they're going for this CCTV wall. Looks like they're trying to do the same thing. Mav enough to get the bandit charges off. Ash is below in lounge right now, which is going to be a very integral. So like right now, the lounge could, in my opinion, can kind of just wait, right? The lounge is a very common area for defensive rotations. Okay, I don't know what's happening here. They're clearing. Okay, so the lounge is a very common place for defenders to rotate through, right? And they don't know she's here. She can just sit here, drone a little bit, watch her flank drone. And then now she made her presence known by blowing up that Malusi device. So she's in a really good spot right now. So we'll see what comes out of this. Kind of going off of this, I don't know what the Maverick's doing in Logi or was doing. Looks like the wall is open in one way. This guy is sitting on an ADS and didn't shoot it. Yeah, the attacks, I think, just a little uncoordinated right now. There's a lot of things that I typically think would happen more that they're not kind of doing right now. They are currently maving cash right now. They're going to, so what they're going to do is they're going to nade. Yep, you got to clear the ADS first before you throw your nades, and then they're going to nade those bandit charges off, and then from there, oh, they get a nade kill.
Trongo,
That's
big
awesome.
Nade kill there, a Mexican salsa through the window.
Yeah.
That's an impressive angle there. Does take down the ADS, so is able to get that nade off. And the offense is going to be up here again. They do have 20 seconds here. As the offense does take down Echo, that's a Echo does get a double kill here, taking down Rookie 10. That's a very big double kill here, and exactly what you need if you are the offense. But you are still approaching 10 seconds. You need to move quickly, either get a plant down or kill this last remaining teammate for Echo.
That's a 4-piece for Echo. I think he's now, so if I got my math right, the Team Foxtrot was at 24 kills last round, and Echo was at 14. He just got 4, so he has 18 kills right now, and the other team has 23. I'm going to keep these stats going as long as I can. So here we go. So Echo has 18 kills. Team Foxtrot has 10, 10, 23. So Echo has approximately 80% of the kills that the other team has in total. So if that doesn't tell you how good of a match Echo is having right now, that's how good of a match that Echo is having right now. I'm not even sure what the competitive record is right now to match. I think it's 27. Not sure. I'm looking towards our analyst. 27 kills in a competitive match. 26 is the professional. I'm sure someone's beaten this in some in an amateur sense, but the professional record for number of kills in one game is 26. And honestly, he has a chance to get that. Obviously, I don't think if they win the next 2 rounds, I mean, he'd have to ace both times or get a 4-piece to tie it.
Which is possible.
Totally possible the way he's playing. I think he's had 2 4Ks, an ace, right? And that puts us
take a triple
and a triple, and then a couple doubles off of that. Chat's kind of going off right now. A lot of good rounds. Not really sure what that's all about. This is the beginning of the round. But anyways, back into the game. Enough about me kind of fangirling over Echo. Let's look at these defender lineups. So a little bit of a change here. We're seeing a Maestro instead of a Smoke. And other than that, kind of a mainstay. They love, they're kind of copying this roaming strategy. So that visual, I'm sure, will be kind of just roaming around the map, trying to pick people off and waste time in general. See a Doc again. Looks like Salsa really likes his Doc play, which, on this site is okay. You can definitely do it. If you get kills with this, with the MP5, you can heal yourself and play a little more aggressive. It's perfectly fine. Typically, there's probably some better utility out there. But we'll see what he does. He was successful with it last time. We'll see if he's successful with it again. On the attacking side, we see the same lineup again, right? We have that Maverick, IQ, Ace, Zafia, and Ace. Not Ace, Ash. So super common again. We'll see if Foxtrot can continue their success on the attacking side. It looks like the Legion just said, okay, I'm going all the way back to site by vaulting everything. Awesome. Looks like we're going to do some light impact tricking as well from that Maestro. Really right now we're just seeing a lot of droning out, trying to figure out what that defense is presenting, figuring out where that one roamer is, enter the map, continue to drone your entries in and go from there. But here we go. Looks like I believe that is the Doc. The Doc gets a kill in construction tunnel. Wasn't quite sure because the MP5 is on multiple operators. But he gets that kill in dirt tunnel.
Yeah, so Echo on the defense here very quickly going up 5-3. Getting 2 quick picks there on Trongo and YSV. Echo is still standing. Does get a very impressive kill there. Rookie 10 does an Arcade Alex hopping out, jumping outside to get that kill there. But Echo is there waiting for him, and Rookie 10 is down. It's still a 4-2, only 2-man up. But Echo and Blicky, the current 2 kill leaders for this team, are looking to get a couple slays for themselves. It is still entirely possible that this match is still in their hands, but this Echo side on defense is playing very, very passively behind all of these sites as much as possible. So it will be interesting to see exactly what Foxtrot could do here to come up with exactly how they're going to get past this defense.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see. Maybe Echo can pick up a few more kills. This is a 2v4 situation right now. They have some utility. They have the Ace and the Zafia. Really that's kind of a really great setup to execute in a 2v4 situation. You have the hard breach, you have some concussions, you have some impact grenades, but sadly the Wamai is like, yeah, I have 3 magnets there and I'm going to use all of them to eat all of your Zafia utility, both 1 impact grenade and 1 concussion grenade as once. We're going to see what happens here. Oh, nice kill there by the Wamai, killing Echo, and this round is all but over right now. That's a super easy angle to cover from the long angle, especially with the Alda. As you can see what he's doing at the end of the round right now, he's just holding left click and firing so many bullets that there is no ability to walk through that at all.
Yep.
So,
no, you're definitely right. Good crossfire there on the defense. Are able to take a round back here. They are still down a round. This offense side in Foxtrot does only need 1 more to take away this victory. And given their track record so far, it is very possible that they do win 2 straight. Their track record is they do win a couple before they are able to give up a round again to the other side. But nonetheless, Echo's still here sitting at 9 kills. YSV and Arcade Alex and everybody right behind him with 3 or 4 kills apiece. Rookie 10 showing up here for the Echo side, getting a couple big kills there in that last round himself. Picked up a big double there in basement on the entry from Echo, and I believe it was Arcade Alex. So excellent kills there from that side. But this Foxtrot side is going to be looking to push maybe a little bit more aggressively here. We saw some passive play. We do see that the Ash comes out again as well as the Ace. My assumption is that the Ace does become a little bit more of an integral part here in the push as they try to move a little bit quicker onto site to try and put as much pressure on this defense as possible, mainly because they know they can win these gunfights.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, Foxtrot has that advantage. They're just a little disorganized right now. They get into some of that mid-range of the map or the round, and they start to lose a little bit of communication, right? They were doing a good job of droning and clearing the map, and then all of a sudden they let Vigil walk past all of the drones, run out and kill them. Can't let that happen, right? You still need to be tight. The rule of thumb is as you clear, you should be taking map control with an operator, not just a drone, right? Because someone can shoot a drone or just simply walk past it if no one's on it or no one's watching it at that time, and kind of just operate in whatever space they want. But here we go. We're going back to CCTV. Same lineup again. We have that Bandit, Vigil, Valkyrie, Jaeger, and Wamai. And the attacking lineup has not changed either. So we're going to run this back from about 2 rounds ago and see who can do it better this time. Obviously, I really do think the attacking side, Foxtrot needs to focus on getting both walls open, Cash and CC. The successful CCTV attacks we have seen tonight, both in this match and the last match, have come when both of those walls are open and you can play multiple crossings off of each other. Looks like they are Mav tricking again, and then using their Zafia below to get the bandits off the wall. Which to me, you have a Maverick, so you should just be Maverick tricking, and then using your impacts somewhere else. And here we go. That's what happens when you don't Maverick trick properly. It is very easy to kill them through those bulletproof holes. But here we go. They have an Ace as a backup, and Ace is very easy to use. You throw that unfolding Ace charge, and it blows up 3 times and makes a big hole for you to walk through a hard wall. We're going to see some peeking here from the Bandit. He's going to be fighting that Zafia, which Zafia definitely has a clear advantage here as she's on repel, and the only thing you can hit is her head, while Bandit, you can see basically his entire body based on perspective. It is an attack, or it is a garage attack. They have located where this defender is in garage. He is in B2 right now, is the default competitive call out, I believe. Oh, there's his head. Yep, shoot it. There you go. Echo gets
big
2.
Double. Oh my goodness, Echo with a big double there.
Yeah, that was absolutely phenomenal. Not a surprise at this point. Echo kind of just, if you show him your body, he's going to shoot it and kill you more than likely before you can kill him. Here we go, Echo with 3. We're going to see an Ace number 2 here. He's just peeking at this point. Oh, I don't know what this person's doing. Ace is just like, yeah, I'm going to run through. And then Nitro, that's probably going to get 1. He does down 1. Looks like Echo does get killed by the Vigil, and here we are. We are in a 2v3. Now we are in a 2v2 after we clean up that 1 kill. And, the defense is in a good position right now. A little stacked up. If they can make this rotation, they cannot. There is a player in Cash, the Ash, that gets the Vigil on the rotate, and now as a 1v2, this Valk needs to make a really good play. But she can take these 2 1v1s very quickly. There's that first 1v1. Can we get the next 1v1? We have to plant here, 20 seconds left. YSV, the IQ, is planting. He is faking it. He's not going to stick it. He's going to try to peek here. The Valk should win this. I feel like this is definitely advantageous. Oh my goodness. Jesus.
Wow. Jeez.
Wow. So right here,
The slow peak of all slow peaks. You would think that the Valk would have the reaction time to be able to get that kill, but no, absolutely not. Foxtrot will take that to make this just one round away, 6-4, just one round win away from taking this victory home over this Echo side, led, of course, by none other than Echo with 22 kills as we speak. Another double or triple will put him with a pretty impressive stat board to start out Winter Breach Series match night number 1. That would be a very impressive.
What to say? I don't know.
Yeah, that would be very impressive to say the least. But excellent performance here from Echo so far. The player, not the team. The team does need to make some adjustments in order to be able to battle back in this. They do need to win 2 straight on defense as they are back in CCTV to try and hold again inside of that top position. But as we've seen so far, Foxtrot does have the advantage if Echo continues to slay out like he has been.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I truly think Echo should have won that last. The team Echo should have won that. Oh, and that's a mistake. When you're shotgunning rotations, try not to shoot your friendlies. Not a good idea in general. But they really did have the advantage there. You know, it was a 1v1, and the Valk had the better angle. And just, I guess maybe she thought that she got the kill in the first couple bullets. Obviously, you know, the MPX is a weaker gun in the game. Really good for headshots, has a high fire rate. So you kind of spray at that head level and you're usually, you know, hit that headshot. And obviously in Siege, a headshot is an instant kill. But, you know, here, you know, obviously doesn't get it. Now here we are, 6-4, we're match point. Let's see what Foxtrot can do. Obviously, once again, they bring the exact same attacking lineup. Obviously, this is a well-versed team, I believe. I'm not sure if they came into the league as a team or if they came as individuals. They came as individuals? Okay, very impressive that they already have a set lineup and really pretty defined roles. The only issue I kind of see with Foxtrot right now is they take a long time with these Maverick tricks, and they do it in a very unconventional way, right? So you should be, you can do it down, and then you can do it either the top and then the bottom, or vice versa on an upside down rappel, and then boom, boom, you're done. Pop it with a Zafia charge, and then now you have an open wall. But they're kind of taking a while. This setup is a little bit different. So I noticed this a little bit ago. They're not reinforcing bottom garage right now. They are instead electing to reinforce the hot tub wall, which is on the clear opposite side of the second floor from where site is. And they're doing that to give Vigil the ability to roam in that master bedroom area. Because obviously if you open that hot tub wall from outside, the attackers can hold the rotations pretty easily and isolate the Vigil and then get the kill. But now with that reinforced, you have to enter from these windows or downstairs and go up the stairs, which is much more difficult to clear, to say the least. Now we have the Vigil in the basement. Looks like they could get this kill. They both kind of potato, but Vigil does end up winning. And now the defenders are in the advantage as we speak now. The Vigil can kind of go. And
that's a big kill by Rookie 10.
That's very big.
Yeah, no, Rookie 10 coming in clutch to get that big pick there on the Ashen Arcade Alex. Of course, they are now up 1. Echo is sitting outside that point side, trying to get an angle if he can. Rookie 10 is able to avoid that peak there. Clearly is being watched by somebody. But we are going to be watching Echo and Rookie 10 here. They are going to be the ones that make the plays. They are the ones holding the tightest angles, as we see YSV is going to take down Fate to make this an even 4-4 fight as we close down into the final minute here. Foxtrot is going to have to make something happen as we see God Osiris holding that top red stairs. Trongo trying to get a peek if he can with Blicky there as well. Looks like the plant is going to come down here in the next 2 seconds here, unless it is a fake. It is not. We do see the plant come down. Yeah. 2v4.
This is going to be very tough. This is going to be very, very tough to defend.
Defenders have eyes on the diffuser.
What?
Attackers need
Where?
to protect it.
This is not what he... Okay, so he's rotating a long, long ways away. Oh my Jesus.
Goodness.
Yep, but they get the diffuse. So that's the thing, is where they planted, you can't really see from that window without jumping out of the window.
Yep.
So, like, that's not a good rotation. He should have stayed in the balcony on rappel and kind of take gunfights 1v1. And you can go up and down that rappel. You can hide your entire body at once.
Yep.
And give yourself the ability to quick peek, right? And they have to hit that very small target, right? Only on that rappel, only your head shows when you're peeking, which obviously if they hit it, you die. But at the same time, you know, it's a very small target, right? And you can see their entire body and kind of shoot them as you please. But that's not what happens. He picks the wrong rotation in the end, not realizing that the defender can easily defuse with perfect cover. That bomb is now completely, You can't shoot through the bomb as you used to be able to. There was mesh. Now it's just a solid metal grate or metal wall, really. So you can kind of hide behind it and defuse pretty easily. So now here we go. We might get a second overtime of the day. How's this marathon been, by the way?
It's been a long one.
It's been a very, very long casting day.
Yeah, long day in general, but we are here bringing you these matches. We are going to see if Echo can tie it up here to take it into overtime, or if Foxtrot is going to end it right now and we send you back to our analyst to break it down. So let's find out exactly what's going to be happening here. We do see that Legion come back as well. No Jaeger this time. We are going to see the Vigil come out for Rookie 10 on this defense here. So very interesting to see exactly how this is going to work out. Blicky, of course, back on that Ace. Echo, as always, on that Zofia. Arcade Alex is bringing out the Jackal, trying to get a little bit more intel. And Trongo, again, I'm going to say I'm probably have a pretty good guess of what Trongo is going to try here with that Maverick.
Yeah, I mean, here, probably one of the hatches.
Yep.
You know, tricking a church wall. I mean, maybe you can also open dirt tunnel. That's pretty common. You make a simple circle. That you can kind of crouch walk through into dirt tunnel, and then you usually use the rest of it either on church or on one of the hatches as well. You have to be pretty precise with that, because if you use it for a small crouch hole and one hatch, that's a lot of fuel in that blowtorch. Obviously, you have a limited amount of fuel. They're not going to give you infinite fuel. That would just not be fair. That would make that operator very broken very fast. So you have to be pretty efficient in opening up the hatches and whatever rotations or other walls you want to do. So we'll see what happens here. Once again, Foxtrot takes the exact same lineup. Oh, no, I'm wrong. There is now a Jackal instead of an Ash.
Yep.
So we'll see what this Jackal does. I think maybe they're a little fearful of the roam when they know that their opponent is going to the basement site. So they're going to use this Jackal. Obviously has that soft reach. Oh, this is dangerous. Oh, they should not have come off that angle. So they knew maybe they didn't know. Maybe they were just pre-firing. But usually you can kind of hear when a bullet hits someone. And unfortunately, they did miss their opportunity to trap the Vigil in logistics. There is no way to get out of logistics. You could impact the wall if he has impact still. So we'll see what happens here. He is impacting an exterior angle now and kind of just sprinting around the map, trying to get back to site. And it looks like he is going to successfully get back to site. The attackers definitely lost an advantage. They did take 50% of his health, which is obviously good, but they did not get to capitalize on the kill, and now he's all the way in dirt tunnel. And look, he's going to take this fight against the Ace, actually. The Ace does win.
Blicky, big kill there on Rookie 10. Taking down the frag leader here for this Echo side. That's a very big clutch kill. If it does come down to a victory, that's exactly what you want. This Maverick here is, again, going for a relatively obvious play. Is being watched the entire time. I mean, I'm not exactly sure what these Maverick plays are, but we do see Echo is coming out again, taking down Mexican Salsa, trying to get another peek if he can, pre-firing some things around those basement stairs. But we are going to see a grenade come out here, attempted maybe potentially by Anatomy on that Maverick, but not quite. This is still very interesting plays from this Foxtrot offense so far, but Echo continues to slay out. Arcade Alex coming in clutch with some Jackal intel super early on in this round. And we have ourselves a pretty even fight.
Yeah, the biggest thing separating it is time, and the defenders have the time advantage as it's coming down to the end of the round, but they don't have the man advantage. They are down 2 men right now, and I mean, the attackers are all at 100 health right now. So we'll see what happens here as the clock continues to click down. There we go. Defenders get 1. Can defenders get 2? They get 2. Unfortunately, they can't get another one, and there it goes. The attackers win. Foxtrot wins this match 7-5. Looks like the defenders had a glimmer of hope here, but I mean, when you're down 2 people, and attacker guns kind of outweigh you, they have good positioning and enough time to execute. They're probably going to win those gunfights and win the round as well. But there we go. Congratulations to Foxtrot on their 7-5 victory to start off their season in Winter Breach on a positive note.
Yeah, no, and just like the chat saying, Echo's pretty insane. 24 kills there on that match. Rookie 10 with an excellent performance as well, getting 15 for themselves there over on the Echo side. But Foxtrot is going to take this match 7-5, a relatively impressive performance for them throughout that entire thing. Echo, of course, leading the way with a very, very dominant performance. And that'll do it for that match. I mean, there was a couple interesting offense plays from both teams there.
Yep, for sure.
A little bit of, scattered play there on the offense and the defense. A couple times we weren't exactly sure what rotations or tricks or plays they were actually trying to pull off. But nonetheless, Foxtrot is going to take it, albeit in a rather unorthodox style, but a win's a win.
Yeah, absolutely. I think both teams have room for improvement. Obviously, very close on that competitive side. They can go back to the drawing board, maybe VOD review, obviously, look at the VOD, see where the mistakes were, get into some scrims, practice, and get better. I think that the mistakes were there on both sides, but I think it's easily fixable with a couple hours of practice for sure. But that is all we have from us tonight, the casters. I am Kyle, a.k.a. Tails. You can find me on Twitter at TailsSpin, TaylsSpin. Shoot me a follow if you will. I'll follow back. And here we have...
I am Box Turtle, of course, Gray. You could find me on Twitter at CLT Box Turtle. DM me if you have any questions about this league or any of the things that Spin is doing. I'm sure you can also DM Kyle as well.
Absolutely.
Our DMs are always open. But we are going to take a super brief break, send you back over to our analyst to break down some more in-depth things that happens inside that game, and we'll be right back to you in just a minute.
Hello. You get to be stuck with me, everyone that's still here. We are going to the analyst boost right now. I'm coming from casting to host. Pathfinder is a bit tied up right now, so I can go over here, be a host, bring my good friend Chase, a.k.a. Gizmo here. He is the expert on staff and lead admin for Winter Breach and Siege in general. He knows more about the game. I think the only people that know more about the game probably play professionally, and maybe you'll make it there one day as well. But without further ado, if we can go ahead and get our MVP up there. The MVP, I think it is pretty obvious who it is. It is Echo, the player, not the team. Obviously, thank God, as I said on stream, that Echo, the operator, is quarantined, or else we'd be in some level of inception that is too late to think about right now. But Echo with 24 kills, obviously, as I said in stream as well, I was kind of fangirling over him. He had an incredible performance, to say the least, and led Foxtrot to that W. But other than that, talk to me a little bit from that Siege perspective. What did you see that was so impressive with Echo?
Yeah, he was really good on defense, obviously, with the Jaeger. He got the ace, round 1. That's not an easy feat at all. And he definitely fragged out on defense. But what was really amazing was his offensive play. So with Clubhouse being a defensive-sided map, when he goes into offense as Zofia and he just continues to frag out 4K, 3K, 2K, 4K, it's amazing to watch. For the rest of the match, both teams they were working on the map. So there were some things to improve on, obviously. And this is Division 3, so these are things that coaches can help them with. But there was, still good back and forth. There were still good takes, and there were definitely, the ideas were there. The execution was a little bit lower, but that is something that can definitely be worked on. The fact that they could see exactly what they needed to do in the round was really good. Opening kills, obviously it was Echo all over the board. I mean, he was just flying around the map, getting the open kill, putting his team in the advantageous position, and then just continuing the push down the hall, and just, okay, I'm just going to go get a 3K this time. So yeah. Echo is really fantastic. And
yeah. There was some level that it kind of started to remind me of Joystick. There's been some clips where, especially on Clubhouse, actually, where it's like, wow, Joystick's playing Terrasun, and Echo is kind of embodying that mentality tonight, to say the least.
Oh, for sure. And I know you're harping on Echo. The rest of his team was fantastic. You can't do what Echo's doing without information. You can't just walk in a room and get a kill. Like, he has to know where they are. And I'm sure that the supports on the back end on Echo were just giving him the calls that he needed. They were calling cams were clear. They were calling spots were clear for flanks. And they were calling, what was clear in the map, how fast he could take, and just being the spearhead on the map.
Yeah, absolutely. Once again, super, super impressive from Echo. But what would be your general advice right now, Mr. Analyst? You play competitively still, obviously, and we saw a little bit of blunders, right? Maybe I was a little harsh on stream, but there are some things where I'm like, wow. That's staring you in the face, quite literally. So if you were in this team shoes right now, in these, high school players' shoes, what would be your first line of advice to help them kind of figure out where their errors are so they can continue to get better? Because I think, really either team could have won tonight. And if they play again in the bracket in a couple of weeks, this could be a matchup that could be a semifinal maybe.
Sure.
And, obviously both teams want to get better before then. So what's that first step?
So the first step is this game is pushing further away from a first-person shooter into a utility-based shooter. So it was interesting to see them bring the Valkyrie and the Doc on defense. So bringing something with a little bit more utility, a little more things like the Banshee, or the Wub as it's called, it takes an explosive to get out. So taking pieces of utility on defense that require explosives on offense is something that these teams could really take advantage of, which will boost their defense because it was an attacker-sided clubhouse this time. And same side on attack, being smart with your utility. Sometimes there were some secondary choices that were not optimal. So just being aware of the operators you're picking and the utility that comes with them to be able to play kind of the rock, paper, scissors with the opponents is a big step that they could take to better their game.
Absolutely. So identifying what utility they're lacking in and then starting to bring that versus just a gun, so to say.
Correct.
Absolutely. Totally agree on that side. But I think we are transitioning to our senior spotlight. Our senior spotlight for this week is Pendii, William, a.k.a. Pendii. Gizmo and Swaff chose him because he's very active in the community and even helped the process of finding a sub when the team was in need, which obviously we harp on this a lot. We did it in the first match, the second match, in between, before, after. Community engagement, positive community engagement is something that is key to everything, right? In esports, there's definitely a little bit of toxicity there, here and there, for sure. And we, only ever build positive communities to upbring each other. So we always love to give the floor or give the platform to individuals like Pendii that show and kind of, live that positive community life because that's something that we want everyone to do and continue to do, obviously in Pendii's case. Any last words from Mr. Analyst, a.k.a. Gizmo, a.k.a. Chase?
Just some last words. So a honorary senior spotlight would be Echo from that match. He is the only senior from that match, and so the fact that he was fragging out on stream is just fantastic for him. Really good to see, and that's pretty much it. It was a really good stream today. Some great matches, some great kills, and just some great Siege.
Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing better than really good matches of Siege. And although we have gone way over our predicted times, to say the least, Mr. Analyst here, a.k.a. lead admin, told me, it would be 2 hours, maybe a little bit less. We're at 3 hours and change. But I really couldn't love any of this any less. Like, we had an 8-6 match 1 and then a 7-5 match 2 in a game that I used to play competitively a few years ago. Love Siege, still love helping cast when I can and seeing these kids interact, right? And just like you said, Echo, in that, honorary senior spotlight, like, recruiters are actively watching this, and he put on literally a clinic. And I'm sure, any recruiter and all the recruiters that are out there watching this or go back and watch the VOD will be like, I want to talk to that guy.
For sure.
So it's super, super awesome for him that he's already building his portfolio within Stay Plugged In. And there's so many exciting opportunities coming his way as we continue through Winter Breach. Yep. But until next time, this was fantastic. I am Kyle, a.k.a. Tails. You can find me on Twitter at TailsSpin. And this is
Chase, also known as Gizmo Online.
Awesome. Yep, definitely. And then lastly, give us a follow here at Stay Plugged In at stay_plugged_in on Twitter. You can also check out our new website, make your own player profile for all the players that are watching. It's espin.gg, espin.gg. A lot of cool features coming that way. We will be going live next on Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern time for Fall Nationals, which is just like Winter Breach, but it's for Rocket League. And you will see Box Turtle return more than likely with Bearlight, casting that in a lot of fantastic competition. We are in season 2. The October season is our second season with that. And there are some literally RLCS, the pro scene over there in Rocket League, contenders in that league right now. So check that out. It is absolutely fantastic. But until next week, we'll be going live for Winter Breach. If you want more Siege action every Tuesday at 7 p.m., correct?
Yep.
Awesome. So we will see you again either in 2 days if you're a Rocket League fan or next week with more Siege. But until then, stay plugged in.